Vision Challenge. We figured that 2020 was such a wonderful year that we didn't really want to think about 2020 vision, even though that makes a much better joke. And we do like to have at least two meetings in all of our titles. So today we've got 9 amazing startups. We picked them from a large field of companies that applied, and I'm really excited about several of them. And a lot of them I just wanted to know more. And so, Pat and I selected, along with some help from some of our mentors, these companies to be showing you today. So each company is going to get 4 minutes. I can't count. 4 minutes to pitch. They will be stopped at the 4-minute point, just to keep it fair. My name is Alex Fair. In case you guys don't know me, I'm Alex Fair. This over here is Pat Hurd. I don't know, maybe he's over there, maybe he's down there. Anyway, so the guy with the birthday hat is Pat Hurd. He's our associate extraordinaire, producer, and just a really amazing young man who happens to be turning 25 today. So hold your birthday wishes until the break, and we're gonna have a party for him or something. Hence the disco ball and the apparently a halo for me and for him, I guess, if he moves a little bit. So yes, this is sort of a fast-paced thing. We do this 20 times a year. We used to do it actually in 20 cities or so, including 3 continents, including in Barcelona, where we're supposed to be with the amazing Aline Noisette, one of our judges here today. But we'll have to do that virtually, which is on October 29th, and we're going to talk about that in a little bit. And I might have the date wrong, but I have a slide for that, so I don't have to remember it. Also, speaking of which, pull up what I'm supposed to say for Oscar. Anyway, so we run this much like a really bad radio show, where the host, that would be me, has no idea what's going on, and the producer has to do everything.
Dana from Kids X's birthday.
It's Dana's birthday too?
Yep.
Oh my goodness, what are the chances of that? So one of our
100% apparently.
Yeah, it doesn't usually happen. So we're very excited to have Dana Lee with us, and you'll hear more about her and the Kids X Accelerator later. She's the smiling one in the bottom of your screen. So welcome. We also have a couple other new mentors, Adina Blickstein, who actually is at Westchester Medical Center, along with George Matthews. So we have a huge Westchester Medical Center component here today. I went to school at New York Medical College. No, not for a doctoring, but Thanks, Amy. Thanks, Amy. You have such confidence that I'd be such a great doctor. They said people like you don't belong in medicine. Okay, fine, whatever. So the 2021 Vision Pitch Contest is not just Alex blathering on. We've got these great startups that are coming. And if I can advance the slide one more, we'll start talking about some other things other than this slide. We originally had a dumpster fire and one eye there representing 2020 and like flying cars in the other, but people complained that somehow it wasn't a very nice thing. I don't know why. Okay. So like I said, this is, one of, 20 contests like this will run a year. The whole idea is that it helps startups get the momentum they need to succeed in healthcare. It's not that easy to be successful in healthcare. So we started running events back in 2008, actually. I started running them in 2009. And we started as a meetup group, and we moved on, and eventually became Venture Fund. So we had planned to go. We did Miami. We had a whole tent at South by Southwest, and then everything else got canceled. But now we're doing it all virtually. So that was the plan for the year. If you want one of these T-shirts, all you have to do is judge one of our contests or do well in the contests. That's actually the T-shirt design, and this is the back of the T-shirt. So all of our judges, please make sure when you fill out the form. Which when I pull up the form now, when you fill out the form, the judging form, also make sure you give us your address and your size. And we have male and female ones, assuming we can find the female one. So these are the T-shirts. So what you'll do is each team's going to pitch for 4 minutes, and then you have 4 minutes to ask questions. Please take turns. Don't take up too much of their time in the actual question. And if you're judging, we'll have a minute or so between while they're changing over slides that we'd like you to fill out to answer one of 6 questions. Basically, they're about, clinical benefit, feasibility, fundability, meaning if it was your money, would you give them money? Pat's going to show you the page. Presentation quality, and he's typing furiously. So did we have enough coffee yet today? I don't think so. We're low on coffee. Anyway,
Scalability and presentation quality.
thank you. Yeah, feasible, fundable, innovative, fundable again, scalability. That's it. That's the one I keep forgetting. Scalable. How likely is this to go global, right? Because we don't want no small startups. So everybody, we invite everybody to use this form, even the people out in the audience, in the live studio, so who include amazing people like Teresa LaRusso, who I don't see her in the judging panel, but Teresa LaRusso, along with Kat Jong and myself, are among the founders of MedStarter. Teresa has been doing the clinical review officer function for the company since like day 6. And basically she looks at all the projects that we send to her that say, hey, I don't know if this is clinically beneficial. We don't send her as much as we used to because now we've got amazing folks like George Matthew and Ami Shah and so many other amazing mentors that we ping on those things. And also we know a few things ourselves. So, okay, next slide. Can we get to the next slide? Nope. Okay. So this is the schedule for today. I don't know if we're actually anywhere near the schedule. We're 5 minutes behind schedule as usual. So I would now say, let's go around and do 30 seconds from each judge. If so, you guys want to take yourself off unmute, and I would say, and go to the judges page. I would say ladies first, or alphabetical, or whoever wants to go. 30 seconds each. Tell us who you are. Ami, you want to start?
All right. Okay. Hi, everyone. My name is Dr. Ami Shah. I'm an internal medicine, integrated medicine doctor, 20 years of pharma experience, and a single mom who had a journey and has a startup called Face to Face Health. It's a holistic integrative platform, and we've presented many times here, and that's pretty much my skinny.
Wow,
Nice
that's
to
great.
meet you.
30 seconds. And she also is a good Bollywood dancer who might lead us.
Ah.
Okay, yeah. Leave it up to me to add the silly things.
And I laugh a lot off of mute. I'm sorry.
All good. Aline, you want to tell us who you are?
Yes, hi everybody. My name is Aline. I'm a digital health consultant and connector. I'm based in Barcelona, Spain, and I organize events like Alec does, and we have our next event on October 29th. So one day of full day of digital health content, and it's all free. So you can I'll put the link in the chat for everybody. Happy to be here tonight.
Hi, everyone. My name is Adina. I'm a child psychiatry clinical fellow, my last year of fellowship. I'm starting a virtual therapeutic school next year called Teal Dragon, and I love innovation. I'm really excited to be here.
I want to complain about something, Adina. You're not nearly as blue in real life as you are in that picture. I mean, we tried to find.
And I love Photoshop and I love graphic design.
And shouldn't it be teal? Who am I to
I
judge?
tried to match the website, so.
Okay, well, it looks good. Okay, Dana, you're up. Birthday girl.
Yes, thank you for the birthday shout out. My name is Dana. I'm the KidsX lead accelerator manager. And KidsX is the largest accelerator program focused on pediatrics and digital health. We're accepting applications today and will be open till October 7th. So feel free to ping me if you're interested.
That's fantastic, Dana. We're very excited to have you. Dana also works with our friend Omkar, who has been judges on our panels before. And are there any other pediatric accelerators out there?
Yeah, there's a few, but we are the largest because we actually have more than 30 hospitals around the world that actually are ready to pilot and agreed to pilot a company.
That's up from 25 like 2 weeks ago. I mean,
I know we've gotten a lot of, we've gotten a lot of interest.
But then you said it, that's amazing. And Omkar is just a wonderful guy too. So incidentally, I don't know if you know, but the Ami has a startup. You guys should talk. Yeah.
Awesome.
That's fantastic. Yeah, I mean, that sounds.
This is pretty much the
sounds
kind
like
of thing that we often do.
My biggest concern when I hear this whole story is
Daniels, mute Daniels.
why is nobody already?
Lawyer, I can't get him to shut up, and then he charges me for it. Thank you. Yeah, so that's just a word to the wise. If you have a lot of background noise, please
Everybody should be
mute
muted.
yourself, including Joe Curcio. Mute too.
we're muted.
Anybody named Joe, just mute yourself.
There you go.
Okay, so the only other female we have on this page, Deanna Dammers, the fabulous Deanna Dammers. Why don't you go ahead and tell us about yourself, Deanna?
I'm Deanna Dammers. I own a company. I'm the Chief Connection Officer for Deep Dive Talent, as well as the VP of Enterprise Sales for Precision Medical Global Solution, which is dealing with PPE. We are working on a 100% accuracy test for COVID-19. I'm helping a company out of Singapore to get through FDA. We're working with disposable PAPRs and all kinds of other PPE related items. And yeah, that's what I'm focusing on right now. I also mentor and advise startups
Yes.
in health tech.
And she's also my sister. You can see the family resemblance,
Oh,
actually.
there we go.
Yes, so
All right,
we
very
both
good.
have this same strange growth on our heads at times. So yeah, we just discovered this today, to be honest. So anyway, so if you have silly hats, feel free to bring them out. We have lots of them. It's part of the show. Okay, so I know some of you are a little time crunched. You guys know me and Pat. I mean, so we're on this page too, but you know, I've been doing startups. I think MedStarter Ventures like my 10th since the 90s. That's all you really need to know about me. Pat, you want to introduce yourself?
Hey, I guess you won't see me though. Hey, I'm Pat.
You see it on that one.
I help MedSource do their due diligence, run their programs, and I guess no matter
Okay,
how much I
look at this.
prepare,
Look right here. Look here. That's the side.
okay, no matter how much I prepare, I can not get everything ready done in time.
Yes. But no, this is the first one we've done since like March, so
Yeah.
or April, May. Heather, you want to tell us a little bit about yourself? You're on mute. I can tell you that about yourself.
Sure. Hi, I'm Heather DeLeonardis, and I am a partner in the fund, and I also help with raising money and being a liaison between MedStarter Inc. and MVP.
Yeah, she's awesome. She's also our timer today. So all of you startups who are actually pitching, you pay very close attention to her. She's going to make a noise of some sort. It's going to be a squeak, a ding, a bell, something, you know, that's going to say she might put up like a 3 for like 30 seconds. And then when you're done, she's just going to say, stop, cut it off, and just interrupt you.
Do you want me to say a quick hello?
Oh, Betty, I'm sorry.
That's okay. I'm
No.
Betty. I'm another panel judge. I'm venture coach for ABCT and ELAB New York City. I do business development for biotech startups. Thank you.
Betty's awesome. Kat, why don't you tell us who you are?
Hi, I am Kat Chong. I am a psychiatrist, and I worked with Alex very early with MedStarter, doing the website, pitch contests, you name it. Back when I was in med school, took a little hiatus for residency, and super excited to get back into health tech and innovation.
Kat's back. I'm so happy to have that. And back then we actually used to make the projects for them ourselves, and we didn't even have a disco ball, so not nearly as much fun. Philip DeLeonardis, he is not only an investor, he is actually our financial checkpoint that we make our companies go through Phil before we'll invest in them. Phil, you want to tell us a little about you?
That's it. That's all I was going to say.
That's it. He also did corporate venture for a while, and you know, he's a really smart guy.
And he's Rob's brother.
And he's Rob's brother. Is Rob? I think Rob is on a mobile. I don't know if he can.
Oh, Rob's on a call. I can't pick up. He's going to try to hop on later.
Okay. Well, John, my brother is almost the same. So, John, you want to introduce yourself? Also not responding. Okay. So one of our portfolio companies we're very excited to have here is from Direct Shifts, Sai, I'm going to mangle your name as always, Thumerlu, of directshifts.com. Really amazing staffing company. So for all you doctors who are looking for like great jobs, go to directshifts.com. Sai, why don't you give us 30 seconds on you?
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you, Alex. Excited to be here. So with Direct Shifts, we connect clinicians to healthcare employers for any clinical position. So it'd be short-term, long-term position. Could be a clinic, could be a hospital, could be a telemedicine company, and we connect them. We have an online platform where we connect all these clinicians. So our main mission is to use technology to decrease the recruiting costs and the onboarding costs. And yeah, we're live in lots of different states. We're live all over the country. Actually, we work with, in New York City, we work with Mount Sinai, Interfaith, Brookdale, lots of telemedicine companies, and we are growing. Oh, thanks, Alex, for wearing our portfolio hat.
We got great swag too.
Hat on.
Very cool hats. It's one of those cool ones like that all the cool kids wear. So yeah, I try not to wear it because it's white.
Yeah, but yeah, that's a little bit about us. So if you have any, if you want to check us out, you can look us up. It's directshifts.com.
They're also our 6th investment, and probably I think they've done about a 4 or 5x since we invested. So we're very excited for our 18 months with you, I think. Yeah. But he's also an amazing story about companies that go through our community and get accelerated and such. Because we met him, I literally kicked him one day and said, you really need to get an MVP. He said, ouch, and said, okay, I'll do it. But yeah, we're very inspired to see the kinds of things that happen at our events and things like that. So you remember that was at the end of life challenge. Yeah, we actually did that. Okay, so who else is here that has not spoken up yet?
I think we're good.
The presenters, I think
Allison's here. George is here. George, you want to say something? George is also one of our investors, and go take it away, George.
Hey guys, George, an investor over here in London, and happy to see everybody. And been quite a while, I think, since we did one of these, Alex. So it's good to see everybody, and should be fun. Thanks.
Absolutely, George Matthew. I see is that an actual picture of you?
Yeah, I don't know what's going on with my video. I'll probably go back up.
Going on black and white.
Not on purpose, Alex. Hey everyone.
He's trying to look different from me. I get it.
A little scary.
We have the same barber. Anyways, George Matthew, work at a tech company called DXC Technology, large IT vendor. Nice to meet everyone.
He's so modest. It's like the largest processor of claims in the country. Used to be called HP Enterprise. Anyway, so yeah, he's like a chief medical officer there.
Sorry, I'm hypnotized by the fact that Dana's picture is just below yours in my screen. It looks like the Brady Bunch from back in the day. All right, I'll go on.
It is.
Nice to see everybody.
Well, I actually come from Brady Bunch. We had 3 of each, but ever. I was the youngest one with curls, believe it or not. Yeah, these are all the jokes I got. They're not that funny.
They're really not.
Thanks. Speaking of which, John, would you like to introduce yourself now that you're actually paying attention?
John, I was paying attention earlier. I lost my Wi-Fi. So that's the story of my life, is I lose my Wi-Fi, and Alex nods, knowingly. John Fair, Alex's slightly older brother. And I work with Alex in many capacities. I've been working with him for 52 years now. So that's all I'm going to say. You can tell me I'm honest too, if you like. That's all I got, though. I'm here for 2 hours. So
anyway, okay.
That would be a lie, John. Sorry.
Yeah, no, we do that a lot. This can actually turn into the John and Alex show, which really you don't want to see.
Not that one.
Yeah. Okay. So can we go to the McCarter slide? Okay. So Joe Daniels, are you audible? Are you listening? You ready? Maybe he's not. Go to Oscar then. So Oscar is our newest sponsor, Oscar Health Plans. Not only are they an early adopter of some of the technologies we've seen and we've invested in, but we're very happy to have them as a new sponsor. They would like you to go to their website, which is we'll send a link in the chat box because they are hiring. They're looking for medical directors, nurses, and things like that. So they support medical innovation in lots of wonderful ways. We're very happy to have them as a sponsor, and that's all we have to say about that. They're fantastic. So okay, so I think if we've covered all the judges, we've covered at least one of the sponsors so far. We'll cover other sponsors later. I think we can get on to the pitches. So our first pitch is going to be from a company that I do not remember offhand. But that's why I've got Pat here to do all the actual real work. So we're going to now go to that first picture, and are they actually here?
Yeah, they're here.
Okay, they're here. So who is it?
1 second.
Anybody could actually check the list and find out, but of course I'm too busy.
Hi, it's me. I'm Martin from Magic Horizon. I'm excited being here. Can you hear me?
Martin, can you share your screen, or are we driving?
Yeah, I share screen. Okay.
The screen. And so you're gonna get 4 minutes. So Heather, you ready? You ready with the time?
I'm ready.
So Martin, make sure you pay attention to who Heather is. Heather, wave your arms around. Say, I'm Heather.
Okay.
There you go.
So thank you very much that we can be here.
Stop. Let me just make sure I reiterate the rules. You got 4 minutes. Okay.
Yeah.
And the judges, pretty much all these people here, except for other pitchers have 4 minutes to ask you short, sweet, hard questions about your business model, about all these kinds of things. Now, also, at the same time, for those who didn't see it before, in the chat box, there's a link to the form that you have to fill out as a judge. That will help us score this contest. So okay, that's it. So until I say start, don't start. Okay, so actually until Heather says start. So
Okay.
Heather, you ready?
I'm ready. Go ahead.
Okay, go ahead, Martin.
So we at Magic Horizons building up a holistic platform for relaxation, stress reduction, and patient calming, mental health in virtual reality, all driven by artificial intelligence. So the value proposition is for calming patients, at example, dental patients, distraction during treatments, relaxation of patients, stress reduction at work, and general mental generation. The challenge we are facing is that there's too much information for all of us. And this is increasing illnesses, mental illnesses, and costs a lot of money throughout all industry worldwide. Our solution are VR experiences that create deep relaxation states at the touch of a button. And we are working together with scientific research of Humboldt University of Berlin. A short introduction of our product. It's a global holistic platform and a personalized flow states created by an AI. The flow states are very important for the relaxation and patient calming experiences to put together the best results for relaxation. We are collecting a lot of data of the patient or the user, all of body movement, how he is behaving, and all based on this, we personalize the flow state to get out the best result for relaxation. We have 3 different kind of moods which are driven by the AI that are deep relaxation states, pleasant awareness, and gain you energy. It is up in which setting you are using it. If you need really deep relaxations, then the AI keeps you in this mood. And also for gaining new energy, you are offered more gamifications to get this state of new energy. A short look on our technology. In the moment, we have our basic platform with interactive feedback up to 8K content. We are working on the AI-driven platform, and in future, all will be cloud-based. A short product description, we have real nature experiences, binaural audio experiences, like I said, interactive, and dreams and meditations. It's like a power nap in only 10 minutes. You really can calm down people. Our business model is a subscription. We offer software only for Oculus and HTC World, but we also have bundles for facilities or hospitals which have not yet any hardware. We make bundles for them. We have 6 pillars of our products. Like I said, the bundling, subscription, hardware, software only, but we also sell into telcos when they have mental health platforms. The target groups I described in the very beginning. So our vision is to bring relaxation and patient calming to everybody out through the world. We are based on scientific research of the Humboldt University. So over the competition, I just slide over. If you have questions, you can ask later.
All right, 30 seconds left.
Thank you. We have quite nice tractions with a lot of different big corporates, but also like universities like the UC in the States. We have a very experienced team, and the company is led by my brother and me. So thank you very much.
That's fantastic. It's good to see another brother team going on, and good job keeping it under 4 minutes. Now you have 4 minutes for Q&A from the judges, including myself or whoever. All I ask is the judges is you make questions, not softballs, and keep it short. So who wants to ask the first question?
Hi, it's me. I'll ask a question.
Hi, Amy.
Hi. This is very interesting. Based on scientific literature, is that available on the site? And then secondly, have you approached any pre-existing VR companies, a partnership like Oculus? Because I know Oculus has a whole bunch of mindfulness, meditation, and other synergies.
Yeah, so we have no partnerships with Oculus. To be honest, it's very hard to come onto Oculus as a very small company in the moment, but our software, of course, runs on Oculus and we can be available over keys from Oculus. The scientific research, we have a pre-study done by the USC recently. We got this 2 weeks ago, and a huge study is running with the Humboldt University, and our basic study is available on request.
Okay, great, thank you.
Awesome. Martin, I have a question. I'm a researcher, let's say, from the University of Washington in Seattle. I think this can help my depression patients and I'd like to do a 10-person study. How much does it cost and what does it take to get up and running for a 10-person study, for instance, through a subscription model?
So in the moment, we are supporting studies to get more traction for ourselves. So if you would be interested doing a study, we are not talking about selling licenses. We are talking about partnerships to get more traction.
Okay, so that would be one-off. What if I'm just a patient who directly wants to come to you? How much is a subscription?
So it's a B2B model. So the cheapest way of subscription is $140 a month.
And what does that include? Does that include hardware and software?
That's the software only. If you have, with the hardware, the cheapest plan is 150 euros.
And then is the hardware just lease only?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
We have a supporting hotline and a full technical support, also replacement service included.
I have a question, Martin. Are there any negative effects, like potential for addiction or any negative effects with this kind of technology?
Not yet known. Of course, people with real mental illnesses, I think there are not enough studies on the market. And people which have serious brain problems, of course, there might be problems, but there are no effects known in the moment, negative effects.
Studies are done on 18 and up, or any on children?
Pardon, can you repeat?
Studies are done on ages 18 and up, only on adults, or have they been done on children?
On children also.
This is Ami. I have a follow-up question to your question, actually, on studies. How many actual studies have been done? What is the N number in your feasibility, the N number of users, and duration of use?
There was a noise. Can you please repeat?
Yeah, so how many people have you studied in totality? What was the duration? And then for all your partnerships, how many active users and subscribers do you have? And what is the duration of that use?
Okay, the duration, the shortest time period of subscription is 1 year. In the moment, we have 30 plus subscriptions here in Germany, running paying subscriptions. Of course, we have quite a lot pilots running, huge pilots like with Microsoft headquarter Germany. And I've forgotten the last question. How many people? So we have studies based on questionnaires with 400 plus people.
Okay, great.
By our own.
And are you using any standardized quality of life measures or questionnaires to actually measure the improvement?
Last question.
Sorry.
Yeah, that's what is done in the moment with Humboldt University. It slowed down a bit due to COVID-19, but this study is running in the moment with Humboldt University, and a similar study is run by King's College London.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you all very much. It was a pleasure.
Thank you.
Okay, I'll stop my screen share. So.
Okay, Sam. So get your stuff going now, judges. If you'll take a moment to go through your survey. Does everybody have a survey? Do you have a number 2 pencil? No, seriously. So if you haven't seen it already, the link is in the chat box. So basically the first thing is, do you see a clinical benefit, right? And how feasible do you think it is that he can really provide benefit for patients? And how innovative is it? Have you seen something like this before? Would you give them your money? And do you think this is scalable to go worldwide? And of course, then presentation quality. So, and then of course, if you have comments or suggestions for the team, people can always get constructive feedback and learn a lot in these presentations. So if you'll take a moment to do that. And then of course, if you're really excited about it. So, I mean, I always tell a story about Deanna, but the first time I met Deanna, she was sitting in the audience at one of our year-end conferences, and she got excited about this company called Valisure. And she wrote we use paper forms in live events a lot. And so she wrote on her form, I want to invest in this company. So that not only made me pay more attention to Valisure, who has done great, but we didn't invest. That's whatever.
That's your bad, buddy. I told you to.
I mean, somebody who's that good at selling, and also you had to, let's not even go there. But yeah, there's a lot of thought that goes into even our mistakes. So anyway, so if everybody's ready, if you're not ready, please tell me, and then I'm not going to let Heather go on to the next one.
I'm trying to get it up because it's not working for me.
It's not working?
Well, it's not working for me.
Okay, I'm not even going to make anything about that. So Pat, send her the link again.
I've got the link. Well, I thought I had the link.
Is it not working for anybody else?
No, I think it's working for everybody. I don't know what I did wrong.
It's working for me, but I had it minimized, so I had to open it up wider.
Yeah, I keep it on a second screen. And I had some trouble with it too, but only because I had already filled that out.
Just user error.
Yeah, the problem somewhere between the seat and the keyboard, I think. So it's an old IT joke. And I'm an old IT guy, so I get to make those. Okay, so assuming everybody except Deanna is ready, and Pat, we'll see if you can help her with that. What I did, Deanna, to get it to was I opened it up in a different browser and logged in with a different name. It uses your Google account. So you have to log in, log back out, but it is a little tricky sometimes. Okay, so we're going to assume that everybody else has gotten to it. And when you do get in, you can just skip the first one or just write it down on a piece of paper, whether you like it or not, and fax it to me or something. This is healthcare, so faxing is still a thing. Okay, so we're on to GrowFitter, a very interesting company. Sam is going to present it. Heather, if you're ready for 4 minutes.
Ready.
You are ready for 4 minutes. Okay, Sam, take it away. Sam, we can't hear you.
Let me just share my screen.
Okay, this counts as part of your 4 minutes, Sam.
Okay. Is my screen visible?
Nope.
Now?
Oh, maybe.
No.
Nope. Do you have to unshare yours?
I'm not sharing my screen.
Okay, our second pitch is going to be mush.
1 minute.
So we actually tried to tell Sam not to do such a complicated pitch, but he wanted to do it his way.
Okay, sorry.
Okay.
Is it visible now?
Yes, we can see it now, Sam.
Yeah. Hi, judges. My name is Sanmati. You can call me Sam. I'm a chartered accountant and co-founder of GrowFitter with 10 years of international experience and headed 3 iconic acquisitions in hotel industry worth $1 billion. And my co-founder Harshid has done his master's in artificial intelligence from IIIT Hyderabad and published 4 research papers in machine learning. And one of the research paper recently got the best research paper in International Conference of Information Processing. So GrowFitter in one line is a gamified platform that offers lifestyle rewards to adopt an active and healthy life. So as you can see my screen, you have to just select any of the 5 activities: walking, running, cycling. You can also go and work out across our network fitness centers or take a health quiz. If you decide to take walking, you need to walk for 30 minutes out of 40 minutes. And if you do that successfully, well, you get an active day. You decide to go and work out across our network centers. We are exclusive partners to Gold's Anytime Fitness, Fitness First. We have an intelligent geolocation-based QR code placed at the center. You need to scan the QR code, check in, be there for minimum 30 minutes, and check out. And if you do that successfully, well, you get an active day. That's it. So you work out 5 out of 7 days, you get a free protein shaker. You work out 20 out of 30 days, you get an H&M t-shirt free. You work out 40 out of 50 days, you get a free fitness band. And if you work out for 225 days in a year, you get an Apple AirPod. And if you work out for 300 days in a year, you get an iPhone 11. That's right. You get an iPhone 11. And well, you don't need to burn your cash. You need to burn your calories. And we offer 52 plus assured rewards worth $2,000 just to stay healthy. Talking about our revenue model, we just charge a $2 subscription fee, cheaper than Starbucks coffee. We've already done a net revenue of $1 million, 100,000 paid subscribers, 500K already, rewards and cashback givens, 5 million QR code scans across our network partners. Talking about our partnership, we have entered into a strategic partnership with Mercer in Indonesia, one of the biggest HR consulting firms, where they're going to pay us $50,000 as a monthly licensing fee, where they're going to sell our Mercer Grow platform across 3,000 plus corporates with 300,000 employees. Talking about our other partnerships, I'm currently in South Korea, so it's 5 a.m. in the morning, and we have entered, the South Korean government has invited us to participate in the K-Startup Grand Challenge. We were selected out of 3,000 startups in the top 30, and also being selected for Alchemist Accelerator in Silicon Valley. These are our few winners who have won iPhones and many rewards. So now we are saying, don't burn your cash, burn your calories. And with COVID-19, health has become the number one priority. And we bring technology to prevent disease over treatment. Instead of waiting for anything bad to happen, why not incentivize the user to adopt an active life and manage it way through by rewarding him to stay healthy? So we are very excited to be a part of the MedStarter program and would want to launch this in US and make everyone healthy, grow happy, and grow fitter. Thank you.
Is this supposed to be 3? Well, that was fantastic. Holy cow. You knocked my socks off there. My high exercise stinky socks, I might note. So do we have to talk about the, if anybody's doing judging, did the numbers get messed up a little bit?
Yeah, because I deleted, because
Okay. So you guys don't know it yet, but if you already filled out your form like I did, then you'll see the next one is skips to number 4, even though it's number 3, but just ignore the numbers. Okay, so 4 minutes of Q&A. Take it away, judges.
That was awesome. You banged that out very quickly. He put you under the gun.
Thank you, Diana.
Alex is evil.
There was a little goof up initially, but don't worry, Alex. I'm going to give you some rewards.
I have questions.
So we can take it out.
Question.
Yes.
Have you guys rolled this out in a pediatric format at all? I mean, it's very user friendly. Kids love their phones. What are you doing with pediatric?
Diane, to be honest, as of now, it was more a B2B2C. So we are definitely open. We can offer, a lot of other rewards for kids. And as you said, today kids obesity is also, rising. So we are very interested. We are looking for a strategic partner who can advise us, and we can build, customized reward for kids as well.
I think it would be an amazing idea to go after the schools, big time. They love challenges. I think that would mean some good revenue for you guys. It's exciting. I'm not a gamification person, but I really do see the fit here. What you said, Mercer is a
strategic partner.
A strategic partner. Are you going after any other similar, or is there a kind of a corner on that market for Mercer?
So we also have 80 plus corporates in India, Diane. So we have partnered with Intel, PwC, EY, because we saw that, with COVID, employee well-being also has become, a priority, where we are just saying that, why don't you do a fitness activity 30 minutes on a daily basis? Because, as per the medical research, it's proven that it reduces your mortality rate, your cardiovascular risk, and I can go on, and cancer, so cycling. So we've done our research. It's not that, with this, and even this, that is one of our key initiatives, because we've seen a high health IQ, also reduces your mortality rate, your diabetes risk, as well as, your lifestyle in a much, much better way. So we want to reward individuals. And we also see a very good fit with insurance companies, because we can also then integrate and offer incentivized premium pricing on insurance, based on your health score.
And it starts when you're a child. Remember that.
Okay, other questions
So we are going to connect
from other
on that.
judges?
Yes.
I have a question. How do you prevent user burnout? Like, I could see this being really exciting in the beginning, but there tends to be desensitization and token economy, and then you have to reward higher and higher amounts of rewards.
So
how do you maintain loyalty?
So Arina, this is a completely AI-based reward platform. So what it does is it is a goal-based platform. So in the first week, it tracks how many users are winning a certain set of reward. And if too many users are winning, next week, it makes the tad difficult or tad easy. So instead, first week, if you have 5 out of 7 days, next week, it'll be 6 out of 7 days. And majority of our short-term rewards, the weekly rewards are sponsored, because we have a lot of health and supplement companies who want to, promote their protein bars, protein cookies, protein shakers to the TG. So, majority of our short-term rewards are sponsored, so we can give as many as we want. Like talking today, we have almost 3,000 protein bars, in our warehouse. And we have also hero rewards where we buy in bulk. So pre-COVID, we got 20,000 movie tickets, a $5 movie ticket for $1.
Sam, you got to keep your answers short. You only have 4 minutes.
Yep.
I want to know what that $1 million is made up of. How much of that is that subscription, the revenue you already have, and also speak for 10 seconds about your entry into the US market.
Last question.
Yes. Majorly, they were, Alex, they were B2B2C. We integrated with major fitness centers and corporates. 70% came from, the fitness centers, because they were directly selling it to the consumers, and 30% came from corporates.
Okay, yeah. Okay.
And yes, we are also partnering with Alchemist in US, and we are looking for, enterprises. And as Diane said, if we can get into hospitals, pediatricians, across,
or Gold's Gym.
We are more than happy to
we
do
can
that.
accelerate the hell out of you guys. Okay, very good.
Yes.
Okay, so we out of time, Heather?
One quick, one second.
Yeah, you already had the
groups compete against each other?
Absolutely. So it's a completely customizable format. And the best part is just last 10 seconds, it's a 70% margin business. We only allocate 30%, as a reward corpus, and the AI sees to it that 30% never overshoots. So it's a high margin, mass market business, so which we are very, very excited. We're just launching in South Korea, 4 languages, Bahasa, Indonesia, Hindi, and English. Thank you.
Fantastic. Great job. Okay, so judges, if you'll take a moment and fill out your form, your 2021 Vision Heat 1 form. And remember, if you fill out all 9 forms, you will get a t-shirt like this. Okay, that's it. Okay, so I assume most people already did their thing. So if the next guy wants to come up, I think it's, I can't pronounce this, Davidas? Matelos Asakas.
I'm here.
Are you Greek, maybe?
Nope, not even close enough.
No, okay, what do I know? So, okay, so Ligence.io. Okay, this is a whole bunch of unpronounceable stuff. I don't know if you guys noticed, but there is actually a link to his deck in the form. So even people playing the home game, watching, there's a link to this in the chat box. You can actually get much more information and be able to go through the slides at your own pace, or review things, or look at their appendix, or what have you, from there. So Heather, if you're ready, and if judges, if everybody's ready, just raise your hand. If you're not ready, you need a second. You need a second, Aline? Okay. Just tell us when you're ready. In the meantime, Joe Daniels, are you here yet? No? No Joe Daniels? Okay. So what I'm trying to get Joe Daniels to say is, hey, I'm the lawyer for MedStarter for about 10 years now. And he's been fantastic. He's really smart. He's a good guy to have on your team. And he has been one of our sponsors for a long time. So, so we also use him for everything now. And I find him to be quite helpful. Okay, Aline, you ready? That's a thumbs up. Okay, good. Okay, everybody else, I'm going to assume is ready if you're not doing something. So take it away.
Yeah, so thanks for having me. We're actually a small startup company from Lithuania. Actually, it's 12 o'clock midnight in Lithuania. And I remember back in the day in med school, and they told me that people usually are afraid of cancer and to die from cancer. However, they all end up dying from cardiovascular diseases. And this is not a secret that cardiovascular problems is actually #1 killer in the world. We get millions of new cases each year, and it costs our economies billions of dollars, euros, whatever. However, many of these diseases can be prevented with timely diagnosis. And the first choice method here is the heart ultrasound imaging examination. So basically, whenever you go to a doctor's appointment, a lab physician or a cardiologist, him or herself, will place a tiny little probe in your chest, and then we'll get these moving two-dimensional images of your heart on a display on a full ultrasound machine. The problem with this examination that this takes from 30 to 90 minutes to complete, and there's a lot of manual work involved, and that creates a lot of burden for medical doctors. It also requires a lot of expertise in the field. And the bottleneck we saw is that currently in European Union, patients must wait for 5 weeks in large queues to get admitted to a hospital for this examination. Now, our solution is quite simple. We're using a deep learning software that is capable of recognizing the standard heart ultrasound image views, and then it performs all of the necessary measurements without human input. Now, here we don't take jobs away from doctors. We're just basically relieving them from their burden, because otherwise a physician would make all of these measurements himself or herself during a regular heart ultrasound examination. Now, our business model is basically we're integrating our algorithms through a cloud server or through a locally deployed virtual server inside a hospital that is connected to a PACS or picture archiving communication system that basically stores all of the medical image data inside a hospital. Our customers are hospitals, however, end users are cardiologists, and we charge for installation fee. We sign a 3-year contract, and we have a support fee for the software. What sets us apart from our competitors is that we're focusing on the full heart ultrasound examination protocol that is standardized across all of the globe. And we're automating 100% of it. Moving to our roadmap. So we're quite a very recent startup. We just secured our first pre-seed funding round of 360,000 euros this year, June, actually. So the pandemic was quite successful for us. At the same time, we're running clinical trials in different hospitals. We're getting patient data to validate our solution. We have been granted one project by Lithuanian government to fight against COVID-19. Now, the funny thing that our solution can be very helpful in COVID times because we're limiting doctors' exposure to patients when performing this examination. At the same time, we're integrating a lot with different PACS providers, and we're certifying our solution with a CE mark, and we plan to launch into market next year, 2021, April or May. So our team is basically comprised of medical doctors who also have been working a lot of AI deep learning projects before. And the good thing about us, the interesting thing about us is that we know healthcare, and we actually know how to tackle its problems with AI. Yeah, so thank you for your attention.
That's great. So we've got 4 minutes of Q&A. You can leave your deck up if you want, if you have anything you want to pull up from your deck. I'm going to ask the first question. Maybe I missed it, but how is it that a clinician is not actually touching you doing the actual measurement? I understand the AI doing the analysis, but you still have to actually go in to get the ultrasound.
Yes, you still actually have to take these images yourself because there's no possible way to automate how a human hand works.
That's what
so you cannot make it robotic, but the analysis itself is done by the software.
Okay, that's cool. That makes sense.
Hi, this is Betty Davidos. I'm wondering about your support fee. That pays also for doctors to diagnose, is that correct? Or can you use this model and allow the hospital that's using the software to use their own doctors to diagnose? Are you going to look at that model?
Actually, no. I think you're talking more about the US system. In Europe, it's a bit different. we're charging basically for the support that something goes wrong. I mean, doctors are still reimbursed by their own governments, by their own, you know.
It's more, yeah, it's more about a service model. So in other words, can you implement this system at, you know, Presbyterian Hospital in New York City and let the Presbyterian cardiologist be the one to diagnose based on your AI?
Yeah, so basically the cardiologist is the final decision maker. So he or she will be diagnosing. The software is only assists a cardiologist in this case.
That's the problem.
Question.
I'm sorry, I missed the value proposition. You take a traditional scan and then you apply your AI to it, and then.
Yeah, so our value proposition that instead of doing this examination for 30 minutes, because all you have the thing you have to do is to press a lot of those buttons on the keyboard, and those measurements actually make up the majority of the examination itself, up to 85%. So our value proposition is to skip the manual work for medical doctors and only leave them with the analysis work. So only so the examination takes only 5 minutes to complete.
I mean, I've seen the doctors do that. I mean, they're super fast at doing all those measurements. There's tools built into most of the systems. I mean, how much time do you actually think you're saving them? I think in your pain slide, you said 30 to 60 minutes.
No, the examination takes from 30 to 90 minutes, but we are saving up to 6 times. So instead of doing for 30 minutes, you can do it in 5 minutes.
But you're mostly doing the measurements of the atria or ventricles or whatever, right? I mean,
There are more measurements than that in atria and ventricles. Yeah, there are around 50 different measurements.
And does it automatically generate the report that they have to write and saying that these are all the stats, blah, blah, blah?
Yeah, basically all of the values, they fall in between the standard guidelines, and you can always check if everything is okay or it's not. And then you have a short summary of what is potentially wrong. And then a physician basically validates everything and says, okay, this is good.
You've got the clinical guidelines behind it saying that this is when it's abnormal, this is not abnormal. That's
those clinical guidelines are not invented by us. They're basically issued by different cardiology associations. So for example, in Europe, there's European Society of Cardiology, and they provide these guidelines.
How much, well, I see you have the deep learning neural network. I mean, so that means you're training the AI presently, or it's already trained? How many patients have you used it on?
We're training it prospectively. We're getting patient data, and we have our data engineers that basically manually label each frame with all these different measurements. So there's tons of work in that.
Yeah.
What happens when ultrasound becomes obsolete and a new technology replaces it? Innovation is happening so quickly. I wouldn't be surprised.
I would say it's vice versa. Ultrasound will overcompete all of the other modalities, imaging modalities. I mean, all of the different modalities, CT, X-ray, they have ionizing radiation. MRI is too expensive, and ultrasound, I mean, it's cheap and it's available and it's readily accessible.
Yeah, if anything, I think ultrasound is growing.
Yeah.
But I admire your confidence in Dina that we're going to have something that's going to be replacing ultrasound soon. That's the true innovator mindset.
And also one more point is that in a lot of institutions, doctors don't do echoes. They're done by
it's on the market. For example, in the United States, you have lab technicians, but the majority of Europe, for example, Germany, Lithuania, they have cardiologists to do the job.
So in America, the value proposition is you're not saving the doctor time. The doctor.
In America, actually, value proposition is even better because you can just scan those patients like on a conveyor, and only then get the results. So it's even better in the United States.
How are we doing for time, Heather?
We're done.
Oh, we're done.
That's it.
Okay, look at that. Is that perfect? Well, great presentation. Let's all go to our forms and fill out what we think about the clinical benefit potential, etc. I need to do this myself. And so if the next presenter,
Guy Latour.
Guy, you want to get your presentation up? Don't start talking yet, but give us a second.
I think Adina has a good point. The money, you have to put the money up to understand how much money is being saved versus time and et cetera, because we do outsource that activity.
Yeah, I'd also like to see something about the traction and how you guys are already implemented someplace and what you're doing. But you'll see this in the comments. If you have, I'm putting this in my comments, for example. I need a traction slide and uses.
And who would you sue if it was a wrong diagnosis? Can't sue a person.
I would like to add on that.
The doctor has the ultimate decision, right?
The ultimate decision is for a doctor. Yeah.
Oh, I see. So
It's just
they
it's just
know that they're risky.
yeah.
we're
Until
not
until the first time they say it wasn't me, it was the AI that.
Yeah, exactly.
In which case, the AI disappears into the internet. Crypto AI. Okay, so has
Ready when
everybody,
you guys are.
okay, has everybody? I know, Guy. Thanks. Is everybody ready?
Yep.
Speak now or forever be trying to play catch up. Aline, you're good? Cool. Dana, everybody good? Okay. So, Smart Steward Automated Infection Control. Guy, take it away.
Thanks, everyone. Hi, my name is Guy Latour. I'm the CEO of the Smart Steward Company. We're a Gainesville, Florida-based startup with a sharp focus on preventing infections and reducing antibiotic resistance. We've all heard the horror stories in skilled nursing facilities over the last 6 months where tens of thousands of the elderly patients there have died from COVID infections, which really highlights the vulnerability of this particular patient population. Infections are the largest cause of patient morbidity in these facilities. When CMS goes in to inspect, infection control is the most frequently cited infraction. And the CMS now has regulations for these facilities to cut infections and reduce their hospital readmissions that are associated with them or face deep challenges. The magnitude and challenge of doing all this for the staff and for their processes is overwhelming. Smart Steward is a web-based SaaS platform that consists of several modules, starting with the Smart Steward Eye, which is a infection surveillance and alert system for respiratory infections, as well as multi-drug resistant organisms. We build in more comprehensive infection control features in Smart Steward ID and start adding antibiotic stewardship functionality. Smart Steward Sync essentially also adds a clinical decision support system, antibiotic recommendation engine, and a communication tool between doctors and nurses. And our last module, Smart Steward AI, will AI power all of those features. Some early results of our early detection system are our Smart Steward Eye. In a facility that we're working with, we identified 79% of symptomatic residents who tested positive for COVID. We did that 7 to 14 days in advance of any first COVID diagnosis. So the Smart Steward Eye is truly a early detection system for COVID. And that's not easy to do because COVID's extraordinarily invasive. 40% of COVID cases are asymptomatic, and many cases have delayed or atypical symptoms. So if you wait to test a patient until they're exhibiting significant COVID symptoms, it's too late. You have to identify the patient early, you have to isolate the patient, and then test the patient if you want to prevent the spread of the infection throughout the facility. And that's essentially what Smart Steward Eye does. We scan the electronic health records, lab reports, physician's orders, progress notes, and vital signs to identify infection patterns and changes in conditions, which helps us notify the staff of a potential infection and where it may be in the facility. We do this by looking at change in conditions, typical respiratory symptoms like a decline in O2 levels or an increase in temperature, but we also look at atypical COVID symptoms like confusion, body aches, and fall patterns. With all this, we're able to identify trends in advance. We're able to use our interactive heat map to demonstrate where the infection started and how they spread throughout the facility. And we're able to issue real-time alerts and alarms to the caregivers so they know which patients to focus on their next set of rounds. Some results of our sync system, our early sync system, we reduced infection rate from 6.56 to less than 1, 30% reduction in the antibiotic exposure of unnecessary antibiotics, 25% reduction in hospital readmissions, and we reduced the cost of treating infections and reduced nursing time required to treat infections.
30 seconds
left. Looks like this. There's Point Click and Clear and Matrix Care. They're two large EHR providers in the space. They have enterprise-wide systems with some functionality in antibiotic stewardship and infection control. Smart Steward's the only one in the space that solely focuses on this and combines these two disciplines. Our financial statement has us breaking even in 2023. We're seeking $750,000 right now to be able to continue our product development training programs and outreach programs and
to set us up for a $3 million raise.
That's it. Thank you.
Is that it? Thank you.
Thank you, Guy. Good presentation. I'm going to start out the questions with how are you making money on this?
Well, we charge the facilities a facility charge ranging from $500 for Smart Steward Eye to $2,250. These are monthly charges for Smart Steward Sync.
It's per hospital?
That's per facility. Yes, these are skilled nursing facilities that we're starting in, Alex. But the software is applicable to other healthcare settings as well.
Yeah, it looks like you're planning on getting to 42 million a year by 2024. Is that all the same?
2024 has us at $48 million in revenue at about a 58% margin.
And all from the same hospital subscription model or SNF?
Yeah, that's mostly skilled nursing facilities. There's 15,600 skilled nursing facilities in the U.S. We also have some small rural hospitals in the mix in 2024. But we really hadn't started going into the outpatient clinic setting at that time. That's going to be later on.
I don't know if I'm speaking for all the mentors here, but I'm gonna have a little trouble doing the math on whether or not that's gonna work like that.
I have a question.
Other questions? Please.
Yeah, I have a question. So, I'm sorry, is it Guy?
Yes.
Right? Yeah. So, you say Smart Steward Eye, for instance, knows if somebody's falling a lot. Is that, is there a camera in the room? Is it a matter of an electronic note-taking by the nurse? I mean, how are they finding that out?
That's a very good question. It's note-taking by the nurse and notes that are shared between the doctor and the nurse. They're called progress notes, and they're logged into the EHR every time the nurse does an assessment on the patient.
So that could be like, there could be a 24-hour lag between the note-taking and the actual fall or something like that?
Well, no, the note-taking typically takes place multiple times. The patients get assessed twice a day, so the note-taking takes place twice a day. And we're looking for keywords in those progress notes to pick up falls and other changes in condition.
And so how is it able to, how is it able to look at, for instance, a urinary tract infection?
Okay, urinary tract infections are the most common infections in nursing homes. And so obviously with urinary tract infections, there are changes in condition like increase in body temperature is fairly common, but confusion is very common in UTIs. So if the patient experiences confusions, has a temperature, and the doctor has ordered an antibiotic, those are keywords that we look at to...
Right, so my question really is a matter of timing. They're already taking those notes. They're already supposing that it might be urinary. Where are you saving time is my question really. How is that really enhancing the system that's already in place?
Sure. Well, the system that's already in place is a paper system. Everything's done by hand. So essentially we're automating the system. There's something called the McGear criteria that they use to evaluate an infection to see if it's a real infection before the nurse contacts the doctor. We automate that entire process. We automate the communication process. So instead of the nurse calling or sending texts and sharing data with doctors in a non-HIPAA compliant way, we put all the information in the palm of the doctor's hands during the point of prescribing. So we're saving time in communication. We're saving nurses time in treating infections because we're reducing infections. As I showed, we reduce infections from 6.59 to less than 1 per 1,000 patient days in one of our pilots. So we're saving people time in various ways.
Can I ask a question about your EMR implementation? Are you equally able to harvest this data across multiple EMRs, or are you limited to a particular user interface?
Right now, that's a good question. We're limited.
Last question.
We're limited to Point Click and Care, which owns 70% of the category. We're working right now on integrating with Matrix Care, which owns an additional 20% of the category. So if we have those two EMR solutions, we can account for over 90% of the category.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, so another great presentation. This is really going to be a tough one today. Also, as you guys are figuring out the doing your answers here for number 5, it says Smart Steward. It's our 4th presentation. We have to decide whether or not we're going to break now or after the 5th presentation. Anybody care? Anybody need a bio break or what have you? Okay, so I'm going to just make the executive decision. We're going to do one more before we break. Okay. Okay. So fill out your vision and we'll vision heat form. And the next presenter, who is
Kineptic.
Kineptic. Oh, Joe, our old friend Joe. We'll start getting his presentation ready and maybe go to full screen mode or presentation mode there, Joe. Just wait a second while we all do our forms. Don't forget to give him some feedback, you know, because that's one of the greatest values that the companies get out of this. The feedback from folks like us.
You mean the spot on the bottom of the thing that says
comments or suggestions for team? Yes. More. I am done. That's good. So Joe Crucio has presented a number of times, won a number of our contests for years, actually got a big contract there, has been through our due diligence, but as often happens, I'm afraid we did not invest in him yet. That does not mean that we won't. And we do like to periodically see great entrepreneurs with great ideas, you know, presenting again. Our whole decision process is a bunch of votes. So actually a lot of the people who vote are here. So we're always happy to see Joe again. And I was just reviewing the footage from South by Southwest from last year, Joe, where I promised to give you 25 grand if you can make me drop the ball. I'd like to know that I only dropped the ball for the purpose of the show. That even though it was very painful, you know, I did not drop the ball until, you know, for comic relief. Anyway, so if everybody's ready, let's get on to our last presentation before the break. And then at the break, you know, feel free to get on a silly hat. We're going to, you know, do a little birthday surprise.
Alex, thanks. But I want to remind you, we don't try to inflict pain.
Yeah, some people like pain. Anyway, okay. So Heather, if you're ready.
Ready.
You're ready. Oh, great.
I didn't have a hat, but I do have the socks.
The socks are good. Yeah, it's always good to have the socks. Okay. Take it away, Joe.
All right. Hey, thank you very much, Alex. Thanks, everybody. Great to see you tonight. For some of you, this will be a revisit of where we're at with Kinaptic. So we build wearable electronics for health and wellness. I will go a little quickly through this slide deck because it's one of John's decks and it's like 20 slides long. Our mission, our vision, our promise: save lives by preventing deadly blood clots in the lower legs. That's pretty much what our project is right now, what we're working on in deep vein thrombosis. I just want to move. Provide an affordable treatment and diagnostic benefit for the patient, clinician, and payer. It's all about the patient journey. And our ERAP, which is what we call our electronic sock, enables a portable solution that will improve patient outcomes and lower healthcare costs. So deep vein thrombosis or pulmonary embolisms, 100,000 Americans die every year from it. It's about 4 times more prevalent than breast cancer in the US. It's one of the largest causes of mortality in hospitals. If you talk to physicians, it's one of the illnesses that they worry that patients come in with otherwise healthy blood circulations and leave with a pulmonary embolism. And why is it related to COVID-19? Because every patient that gets intubated is put on alert for some form of a DVT. If they're bedridden, basically, if they're on a ventilator, and they run the risk of getting pneumonia. And if they do, they get an increased coagulation activity problem. So that you put the two together, you have a very high risk of DVT. So they're seeing a lot of this right now with bedridden COVID-19 patients. The medical cost is $36.7 billion for thrombosis prevention and management. This is pre-COVID-19. The treatment currently, the 3 typical treatments, what's called a TED stocking, a compression stocking on the left, a sequential compression device, which is a pneumatic pressure cuff in the middle, and medication. Ineffective, cumbersome, and expensive. The Kinaptic solution is a lightweight wearable, looks like a sock. I actually have some prototypes. If you're looking at my screen, they look like this. They're very thin, lightweight, inexpensive with embedded electronics. What's unique about our electronics is that we detect muscle activity using EMG, and we apply using EMS with the same electronics. And you'll see in the IP coverage, we have an issued patent for the ability to do that through the same portal, basically, through the same contacts with the skin. We also are able to embed additional sensing and pipe everything up through our wireless app for data analysis, monitoring, and so on. Oops, I went the wrong way. So here's another image of the treatment, what the system looks like. The beauty of it is it means patients get to take these things home. And they are able then to have remote patient monitoring connection back to their primary care physician. So we're poised to redefine the DVT treatment and diagnosis through this type of a system because we diagnose with using a wearable electronic and we provide treatment in one package. We have a pretty broad patent portfolio. I know Alex and we talked about this before. My partner, John Daniels, is a patent attorney. We filed our original patent applications back in 2013. So those have been issued. We have a stack of new patents on the horizon that are
30 seconds left.
Thank you. I'm going to run through. We have competitive market data. We've had these things tested at Bayer in Germany, where we were one of the G4A recipient. We have projections for our volume and how we plan on going to market in the next couple of years. We have now a relationship with Stryker, where we've teamed up with a group out of Seattle. A number of the people on here, Jeff Rowe in particular. And that is where we're at.
Thank you.
Alex, you're muted.
I know, I'm trying to unmute.
Okay.
Can you go back to some of the slides because you
Sure.
through that, Joe. I've met you before. I'm Deanna. And last time we saw
Which slide, Deanna?
a couple back.
Just tell them when to stop.
Okay. Here, wait, no, I'm sorry. Go one forward, two forward now.
Just
One more.
a suggestion, Joe, pare down the deck before you.
Yeah, you know what, I'm sorry, but I'm using John's deck.
Okay, so we're looking at 2 years out.
I've been so busy. Yeah.
Okay. And
so where we are today, to tell you why that's like that, we have teamed with this group in Seattle. This particular group has a very a similar patent to ours, and they have a very nice working relationship with Stryker. They were tasked by Stryker to develop something very much like what we have. I did a pitch competition in Boston last summer that I won. And as a result, it gave us a trip to China. And so my partner went to China, and actually they took him, we won 2 different events, and we got out to China twice on it's called
Net it out
Interlink.
first, Joe.
And I'm sorry?
Net it out. You've got only a couple of minutes.
Yeah, okay, so as a result, one of the judges hooked up with us and is raising funds for us to get these products into Stryker. And so that's really the direction we're going right now, is to get a strategic alliance with Stryker. We still have a good alliance with Bayer in Germany, but COVID-19 really screwed us in that because we weren't able to get back to Germany.
Is there a possibility of you merging with that other company?
We merged with, it was called Circulex. So we've merged. We just finished the merger last month, actually.
Okay, that's cool.
And we kept the Cynaptic name. So that team slide that I showed you, Jeff Rowe, the CMO, he's also he's now the chairman of our board. Jason Duncan down on the bottom, Herb Portillo and Simon Robinson all came from Circulex.
So Joe, just in 2 seconds, tell us about revenue or funding. I mean, what are you guys running on now?
We're running on fumes still. We've been self-funded basically, right? And plus the funding that we got from Bayer. We've done, over the last 3 years, we've burned through about $500,000, mostly through friends and family and, little investments here and there.
Okay.
On what? What did you burn through on?
Mostly on developing the DVT product. I don't know if you remember, but we pivoted when we were at Bayer because we went in with a stroke rehab, and Bayer helped us to look at it and say, well, DVT prevention and the device drug combination was a better strategy. So mostly it was all of the materials and trial and error. And we've hired like an industrial designer to help us with some of the electronics and things like that.
Heather, how are we doing for time?
About 45 seconds.
Yeah, go for it, Adina.
Can I have a question? Okay, so it's a clinical question because DVD doesn't kill, deep vein thrombosis doesn't kill, thromboembolism kills, right? Because the thrombus goes up to the brain. So when you have the device, are you you're doing prevention, so you're preventing a thrombus. But what if there's a thrombus? If you continue to do EMS, like it could embolize. So is your technology detecting a potential thrombus?
That's a terrific question. And to clarify, we're stimulating what is termed the muscle pump. We're using the body's natural mechanism, right? We're contracting the calf muscle essentially. And so it's like an ancillary, heart. We have talked about what you're talking about, and Kyocera has given us blood flow sensors, and we've worked with those specifically to measure the blood viscosity. And that is part of our detection capability. We have not yet incorporated that into the software.
Okay, because that's a big competitive advantage over the other devices. And also you're preventing deaths, essentially.
Right. No, it's perfect. No, you bring up a really good point.
Okay, so I think, Heather, that was your ending.
That was it. Thank you.
Okay, well, that was perfect timing.
And I can make this deck available if anyone wants.
Okay, so judges, we'll take a moment to, there's a link to your deck in the judging form. So I don't know about everybody else, but I usually open that up and when I have questions, so I can answer them.
Well, thank you guys.
Sometimes. No, thanks, Joe. It's really great to see you again, see your progress and things like that. So, and of course, to always stay in touch. So judges, if you fill out your form, we can get on to the break. The break, is supposed to be 10 minutes. So if you do need to go do something, whatever, for 10 minutes, if you want to stay here and celebrate Pat's birthday with us.
Happy birthday, Pat.
Thank you, Heather.
So yeah, get on your party hat.
And Dana's birthday.
And Dana's birthday. You can't forget.
Happy
Dana.
birthday, Dana.
Okay. So yeah, so everybody, if you'll just, we could do this, or we could just sing him happy birthday. Who wants to sing happy birthday? We already did this to him once today, so it's pretty horrible. Oh, you gotta wear the birthday hat. Anyway, so yeah, we like silly hats. Anyway, so we'll be back in 10 minutes. Okay. You like this? Okay. Would you rather do something else? Oh yeah. We actually we made him I made him a chicken parm sandwich for lunch when I put a little candle in it. That's about the extent of what we've done here for his birthday. So yeah,
It's a busy day.
So if anybody has party favors, normally Heather would be, arranging some huge ass, party for him, like she did for my 50th birthday last October. We had 200 people and like everybody singing happy birthday. So we're gonna do what we can here now for him now. So we're not gonna do the Beatles version. Let's all do it. Let's just is anybody else gonna be with me on this, or are we gonna be singing along? Anyone? Deanna?
Oh, fine.
Take everybody off mute and then we'll see what happens. Okay, so Kat, come on, Kat, sing with me. Aline, I know Aline will.
I will.
Joe, okay, we're not funding anybody unless they sing with us. Okay, I'm kidding. Are you ready? 1, 2, 3. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Pat.
Happy birthday to you.
Yeah, really, I had no idea how unsynced the Zoom feature is. So
it's totally Zoom. It's not us. Absolutely.
Clearly.
No,
And that-
clearly, it's Zoom.
Really, you think it was us? No.
Alex.
It had to be. No, it had to be.
All right, put on your stupid hat, Alex.
What's that?
Put on your stupid hat.
Put on my which stupid hat? I have many stupid hats.
Aren't we gonna be twinsies?
Oh, no, I was gonna do the pink pussycat hat. I want to support women's women in healthcare. That's why we have so many women on the panel today. That was completely accidental.
Oh, yes, that was completely intentional, right, Alex?
I always guess. It just, yeah, I don't know. It's like just sort of happens. But if you looked at that slide, and actually we only put the pictures of the women, and I did not do that. That was bad. That picked the picture. I guess you're just all more, photogenic than we are. So whatever. Or maybe
I pulled out my sparkling cat ears for the occasion too.
you got cat ears. Who's got Cat's got cat ears? Of course, Cat has. Cat ears. Okay, I'll do my monster. This is actually my daughter's, one of her many costumes from her many years as a costume person. So, so I guess we can talk about anything in this space, but tell us what's going on. Kat, tell me. So you finished your boards, and now you now what are you gonna do next? You finished your psych boards. Right? You're a psychiatrist now.
Yeah.
Okay, don't psychology.
So
psychology.
doing what's like a small micro practice, sort of part-time clinical, and then looking for what's next.
You're just gonna see people wear silly hats on TV.
Yeah.
So what's a micro practice? You've got that's just starting out, or that's the whole plan?
Like, no, just to do like a little bit of patient care, because I think it's really important actually, when talking to people who are doing healthcare growth and things, to actually have a, foot in the game.
Okay, that works. How you doing, Phil? You've been pretty quiet today. Is that actually a picture of you, or is it video?
Phil, D, you're talking about? I don't even know. Is my video running?
Your video is running. Yeah.
I'm going back and I'm reviewing my my submissions here. Are the companies going to see this?
So one of the first questions on one of the first forms is, do you want to share this? And it's yes, no, or maybe. We can make it unshared and delete stuff or whatever, but yeah, that's a good thing to go and check. Make sure you use the back and the next button on the bottom. Do not use back in your browser because you're going to lose your data. So yeah.
Okay, I don't remember what I chose I know I said I would share it, but I don't know whether I said I'd share it.
I know the guy who handles all that sharing stuff. So
okay.
If you say, Alex, I don't want to share it, then that's fine. Usually.
Do you have a preference?
Yeah, I think it's always great to share with the teams. Only a few times have people threatened to sue us over
I can make you
feedback.
anonymous also if that's.
You can also make you anonymous.
No, I don't care. I do whatever the preference is.
Only once did people threaten to sue me over comments, and that was because I had like a bunch of cameras on them. It was at South by Southwest, and it was actually Peter Thiel who said he was going to sue us. So honestly, not a normal situation. Yeah, it's always nice to know famous people and have them try to sue you. Okay, so what else? What are you going to do for your birthday, Pat? Do you want to tell us?
Doing it right now.
Oh, this is your birthday celebration?
This is my birthday celebration.
Okay, well, how come? Okay, well, if this is your birthday celebration, then I guess we need different music. A little Cool in the Gang. Why isn't this playing? Bluetooth, pause, not pause. Apparently, I cannot get my music to play that I want. Recent searches. I think I got to close the app. What else is going on? Anybody else have any interesting news you want to talk about? Dana, do you have a lot of applications for your accelerator, or I see you're turning your camera off, so maybe you're not here. Aline, talk about your, tell us about your thing, your next event, your Barcelona Health Hub.
Yeah, so it's on the 29th of October. It's a one-day event, and we're going to talk about technologies to tackle COVID-19. So like one of many you talked in the show here. We're going to talk about digital therapeutics, about telemedicine. There'll be half of the day will be focused on telemedicine. And we're going to finish the day with an e-health investment forum focused on telemedicine. And the applications are open right now. So if you've got a telemedicine solution and you're looking for money, Alex is going to be there. Startup Health is going to be there, like from the US part. And then we've got like Optim Ventures, and different companies. So we have two categories: pre-seed, seed, and growth. So covering like all the different stages.
So are we going to run one of these associated with the with your BHHSummit.com? We just put up. This is just a screenshot of their webpage.
Yeah.
But you could get to it at
You can
BHH Summit.
scroll down so we can see, we will be attending, we can see your picture.
What about our picture? What?
Your pictures are there.
Am I in that screen? Am I in that picture? I see
Yeah.
you're there on the left side.
Scroll down.
I can't scroll down. I mean, we'd have to, that's just a screenshot. But so I'm on there. Yes, I know I'm on there. But the question is, are we going to run a Medmo pitch contest there?
No.
No.
Bad answer.
It's okay. It's, you know, she said it with a French accent, so it's always better. So anyway,
Yeah.
it was on the t-shirt though. We did plan to go to Barcelona this year.
No, we will do it, but just like everything, because we already have 4 partners, but this one's a bit tight. And Amazon is actually sponsoring the event, so the winners are gonna get like Amazon Web Services credits, and all the finalists, they will also get some business mentoring from Amazon prior to the event to prepare the pitch. It's
Yeah,
pretty
Amazon sponsors our event, our accelerator too. Every company we invest in gets like $100,000 in Amazon credits too, which is pretty normal for accelerators. So we're happy to be normal sometimes. Okay, so we told people 10 minutes. Was that 10 minutes ago? What do you think, Pat?
It's about, yeah.
It's about 10
Maybe
minutes
like
ago.
8 minutes ago.
I guess if you're here and you're waiting for us to get started again, Ami, Betty, you know, turn your cameras back on so we can see that you're actually here. George, John, anybody? Okay, we'll give them a few more minutes. No, Ami's here. Hey, Ami. So Ami, you want to tell people a little bit about face-to-face health and your journey there?
Sure.
I'll turn the music down if you want. Can you guys hear the music or no? Is it interrupting? Okay, I'll turn it down anyway.
Sure. So I'm a internal medicine, integrated medicine doctor who was a senior pharma exec, and then my twins had delays. I'd been practicing telehealth for 15 years, and I had a 7-year journey and talked about 2,000 parents and providers. And the pain points were access to health literacy information that's holistic, access to providers, and access to support. So I built a platform with an amazing team. We built a platform that's focused on children's health and wellness, and it's integrative health, and it has education, advocacy, and virtual care. And that's about it.
We're gonna have a disco again.
That's awesome, Ami.
Yeah, look like a disco.
Thank
right?
you.
I'm started because I'm a child psychiatrist, so I see a lot of kids who's like they're just crumbling with the education problem.
Yeah.
And
My
hyper
kids-
education.
My kids had low muscle tone, and we had 14 therapists over 7 years. And none of them ever spoke. Not one of them ever spoke. Not with the doctor, no one. And then it's interesting, when I went online to find information, I search hours and hours every week, and all parents do this, and 30 to 40% of the information is outdated, not peer reviewed, and not evidence-based. So we actually took 2,000 providers from 90 specialties and created topics on the top 125 topics. What to expect when parenting.
No, and you know, we've been tracking Ami for years, and we're very excited about her progress. We're hoping to move her into the accelerator pretty soon.
So if anyone wants to hear more, you can go to f2fhealth.com, and thank you for your positive energy and love. All this when needed, especially the mothers and the single ones.
Yeah, so we actually have a very large percentage of mental health folks, as well as mentally unstable folks, I guess, like me, on the line today. So I mean, I guess we should be running mental health competitions, which we do usually once a year. We haven't lately, but as you can see, you know, we are running a broad contest now, not focused on any particular thing, but we're very happy to have y'all here. Anybody else want to talk about what else is going on in their life lately? We'll just
But we can
introduce yourself.
We could start up again.
Well, I do want to hear one more. Adina, is Dina still here? Adina's still here. So tell me what you're doing with this Teal thing and how you're helping startups.
Yeah, sure. So I right now, because kids are not really going to school, they're going to school sometimes. I see a lot of neurodiverse kids, like kids with ADHD, kids with high spectrum autism, who are just falling through the cracks. Like they cannot do virtual schooling. They can't manage. Families are just, the abuse rates going up. It's really very, very bad situation out there.
Did you see that stat where the amount of reporting went down, but then the number of hospitalizations is actually going up?
Yeah, suicidality is increasing. I just had, unfortunately, a child that had a completed suicide that, you know, my supervisor hadn't seen in like 15 years, 12 years old girl. I mean, the stress on young families and children is just unbelievable. Internet addiction, kids are watching on screens for 16 hours a day. Like my kids were home from school today and they just gave up and they just played video games because we just can't handle it. But in any event, so essentially I'm creating, the school's launching October 2021. One of the problems of education is that, number one, it's not designed to be virtual. That's number one. And number two, it's just archaic. We shouldn't be teaching kids knowledge anymore. They're inundated with knowledge. We should be teaching them skills, how to manage their knowledge. We should be teaching them how to have a digital diet. We should be teaching meditation, self-healing, you know, all things needed for life. So I'm basically putting a 3-tiered curriculum to build kids' emotional development, the things that I do for my parents as a clinician, into an educational system. So it's going to be a completely integrated educational, medical, therapeutic system. And so that's what I'm building, and it's going to launch next year. And I do need help and support, and if anybody wants to be part of it, because I'm going to be writing a proposal for a charter school so I could get better funding. And then the board is going to consist of like mental health professionals as well as educators.
Well, we're more than happy to help you. I mean, one of our missions is just to help innovations. I mean, honestly, we've been doing innovation help since 2008. Most of it, we didn't really have a business model behind. In 2017, we finally figured out we're supposed to be a venture fund. You know, we're all scientists and doctors, and in New York area, there's like 7,400 people in the meetup group. And then there's another, you know, 83,000 worldwide. So if you have any ask for the community, we're always happy to include you in that. Obviously, you can put the thing on medstarter.com or whatever, but you know, our resources are your resources, whatever you need.
Thank you so much.
And that's, you know, all of our MedStarter mentors, which most of the people here and judges are, and, you know, we're always happy to help with whatever you're doing.
Thank you.
You know, just
Adina, that sounds absolutely amazing.
Yeah, I'm really, really excited, and I want to expand it to be a global school. So initially I'm going to start in the New York area, but because it's virtual, I could have teachers from all over the world and kids participating from all over the world. And Sam, where is he? Sam, he has that exercise app. One of the major issues happening in virtual schooling is kids their posture is getting like this, and they're not moving enough, and they have like the cervical issues here because of the phones. There's a lot of issues. And so I want to gamify. The curriculum is going to be gamified. The activities are going to be gamified. And school will be fun and like one big video game.
Yeah, I know Ami's about to say, go ahead.
Adina,
Yeah.
Adina, I got your private message, but 30% of our courses are mental health and on children. And we have several partnerships. So we're happy to piggyback or help accelerate your modules or your education, or you can do webinars and you know, whatever. So I sent you my email, just ping me and let's chat. I'm happy to put you on our platform or do whatever you want. You know, our platform is everyone's platform because it's about getting knowledge into parents' hands globally. So
amazing. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
This
Power.
This is the kind of thing that we see. I mean, since my first event that I went to, where I saw a marketing person and someone who invented a pill box that measured pill weight or whatever, got together and formed a company, and just like, this is the kind of thing. That's why I started running the events when Eugene Barakovich took off for Europe. He said, can you run a few events while I'm gone? It had helped me so much with my startup at the time that I was like, hey, we should keep doing this, make it bigger, better. And so now we are here doing this. Kind of the same thing, but you know, lots of other things too to help folks. So
thank you so much.
Betty, are you back?
Yeah, she is.
Okay, Betty's back. George, John. Okay, so hopefully everybody's here that's going to be here. And I think we can get the show started again, but it's really inspiring to see all you guys. Hey, John. You know, cross-connecting and things like that. And also don't forget that Dana Lee is running the KidsX Accelerator, which that's a good thing for you to be working with Adina too. And you know, getting into 30, by the time you finish your application, they'll probably be in 35 pediatric hospitals if it's about 2 weeks per 5 hospitals. Are you doing that work yourself, Dana?
Yeah, I'm leading the KidsX Accelerator. Our team is really small. We have Omkar as our managing director, and then one other FTE and a few other people who are part-time. So super excited for the program to start. It's we actually have 34 currently, 34 pediatric hospitals, and growing. So
while we were on this call.
yeah, probably. But yeah,
form and they just like, okay, whatever. That's awesome.
yeah. So it's great. So yeah, definitely reach out if anyone, if you know of any companies that are interested in entering the pediatric space.
Okay, so
Or any hospitals.
that's awesome.
Or, yeah,
We're
exactly.
proud and happy to have you, Dana.
Yeah.
And happy birthday, of course. I guess we should get back to the show. I will warn the startups, please, and also the judges, take turns, go short. Meaning like if you have a choice of giving a 2-minute answer or a 15-second answer, you want to get to the next question because, if you let them, our judges will pepper you with like endless questions. So if you can just, be like, who was that guy? Max Planck, who said, if I had more time, I'd write less. Do the same thing here. Just, keep it short and sweet. Just get, just the facts. And also the judges that we haven't been hearing questions from, please don't be shy. Feel free to pipe in with any kind of question you got. So without further ado, who's our next presenter?
Polaris Mobility.
Polaris Mobility. Jeff, are you there? Jeff Gant. Are you turn on your camera maybe and share your screen? Or are we driving? Is he
She's
driving?
sharing.
Okay,
Nope,
so
I'm just
share your screen. And Heather, are you back, Heather? Heather.
Yes, I'm ready.
Okay, you got to turn your screen on so we can see when you're, waving your hand or what have you.
Okay.
So I guess you're ready. So you know the rule, 4 minutes. We're going to stop you at 4 minutes and take it away.
Okay. So hi, my name is Jeff Gant, and I'm with Polaris Mobility, and we're orchestrating healthcare transportation. Healthcare transportation is a $6 billion a year industry, and it's mostly funded by Medicaid, Medicare, federal, state, and other private pay organizations. And they're serviced by incumbent brokers that manage the process, but also rideshare and other various startups. So the landscape kind of looks like this. You can hopefully see my slide. So you got folks like Logisticare, who's one of the biggest non-emergency medical transport brokers in the US. And, they're semi-liked by the big Medicaid MCO programs because they've got infrastructure, they've got support, and they've got reach, but they struggle with technology. Then you've got the folks like Lyft and Uber Health, and they're great with technology, but they're kind of single task tools. They only provide pickups for curb to curb. And so that's a bit of a struggle when you have people that are in wheelchairs and stretchers as well. And then you've got the rest of the people in here, which we kind of fall in, which are the other startups. And I think, the big thing with some of those folks that we've seen is this space is very, very complex. And the exception management alone is a death by 1,000 cuts. And if you don't know how to deal with it, it's a big struggle. And even worse, some of these folks in this slide here are actually creating walled gardens with their solution. So if a transportation provider, these are the people with the fleets of vehicles that pick up and drop off your loved one, if they want to take their rides, they have to use their applications. And so when you're dealing with a driver, can you imagine a driver with multiple tablets with rides coming in from different dispatch solutions? It's an absolute nightmare. How do you provide good patient rider experience? How do you provide accurate and timely data when you're dealing with multiple tools? And as a transportation provider that are picking up and dropping off your loved ones, operational efficiencies, you can kiss that goodbye. It's just crazy. So ultimately at Polaris, what we're doing is we're trying to orchestrate the whole process for the patient riders. So not only can we connect all the incumbent brokers and startups that are playing in this space and what you see on the screen, but we can also bypass them and go directly to the ride payers. These might be the health plans, the health systems, the charitable organizations. And so really in our first 24 months, we've built the groundwork to build a networked multi-tenant platform, which provides the foundation for this ride orchestration. So really it looks something like this, where we're connecting folks like brokers and health plans and health systems through our platform, our virtual brokerage platform, to a network of transportation service providers, which also include big rideshare as well. So we've already built and deployed our first dispatch and our mobile app services, and we've done direct integration with both Uber and Lyft. And what's even more interesting is that we've just white labeled this platform so that now we can share these orchestration capabilities outside of, people that are working directly with us, and individuals like brokers, health plans, and health systems can actually use pieces of our service or the entire platform. So that changes the game, and that essentially turns us into an umbrella that we can deploy these separate ecosystems to manage healthcare transportation, to get access to healthcare, to get access to food, to get access to social engagement. And I can say with confidence that we're one of the only few, if not the only ones that are out there that are providing this capability to be able to essentially provide all these solutions for ride orchestration to people that actually need it. So back to reality, we've slowly been rolling out to transportation providers. Timing couldn't be worse. We launched when COVID hit, but we've had a little bit of luck. We've managed to onboard a number of transportation providers, and we're doing 4,000 rides a month. We've gone from pre-revenue to revenue, and we are about close to signing our first large ride payer, which will take us from 4,000 rides to 30,000 rides in the next 3 months, with the ability to ramp up over the next 18 to 24 months to 100,000 rides. And this is just—
Thank you. Hi, this is Betty. So when I'm thinking about healthcare and Medicare and Medicaid and all that subsidizing a ride, they're using ambulances and the fire department. I'm not really sure how you're equipped to be insured to carry a passenger who's possibly very sick.
Yeah, so actually non-emergency medical transport is a pretty large space. There's 17,000 transportation providers that are out there, and we provide the software to manage and orchestrate the ride process for the ride payers and the transportation providers.
So Jeff, how do you integrate with these? Everybody's got like an API and just grabbed it. I mean, it sounds like a monumental task.
Yeah, so we've actually started building out a value-added network that actually takes messages in various formats and rationalizes and normalizes it to bring it into our ecosystem, so then it can be passed out to the transportation providers that are connected on our platform.
Okay. And I don't think, did you get to the financial model screen? I don't know if you got to it.
No, we didn't actually have one in the deck, but the financial model is two-sided. We employ a ride subscription service for the ride payers, and we use a tiered ride subscription model for the transportation providers.
I mean, the problem with being the sort of a wheelhouse for all these other, companies is you would only get a small percentage of the revenue. What does that look like?
Yeah, so our pricing model is $1 per ride, so it's transaction based for the ride payers. And the tiered ride subscription model is a flat rate based off of the number of managed rides that go through our system. So it starts at 1,000 rides that are managed through our system, $99 a month for the small transportation providers, and it ramps up to up to $600 a month for larger transportation providers with higher volumes of rides.
Okay, so it looks like you're doing like $1 million in revenue so far this year against like 1.7, and that's projected or that's actual? How much of that is real?
Yeah, so that was projected. So that's our pitch deck that's out there. I'm using a little bit of a different slide model here, but we just started generating revenue this year. So it's significantly smaller than that, but lots of opportunity for growth. We've got a number of promising leads.
Okay. Other questions?
What cities are you operating out of?
So it's less about cities, it's more about geographic areas. We're in the state of Florida right now with a number of transportation providers.
How many rides have you done?
So we're doing 4,000 rides a month currently.
And I'm looking at your go-to-market strategy. Actually, let me ask other people ask questions. I'm sorry. Go on.
And what's the average age of your rider?
So it depends, but it's mostly elderly folks that are getting rides to and from wellness appointments, dialysis treatment, and cancer.
So that sounds like it's particular to Florida. So where's your next state that you would grow into?
So we're focusing on the Sun Belt states. The next state for us priority-wise is California.
More questions? More questions. Okay, so mostly your go-to-market strategy is going through the payers and the top level organizations. Is that correct?
Yes, it's two-sided. We're focusing on the health plans, the health systems, charitable organizations. That's the payer side, the demand side. The supply side are the transportation providers that have the fleet of vehicles. Typically, they're 5 to 10 vehicles, mom and pop operations that are picking up and dropping off people, either ambulatory, wheelchair, or stretcher.
All right, last question.
Anyone? I'm going to ask why Uber Health would want to use you guys instead of just doing it themselves.
Yeah, so essentially what we're doing is we're providing orchestration and aggregation. So right now, when you're booking a ride as a health provider, you're dealing with multiple systems. So you're on a swivel chair going into and out of various systems. We bring that all together and we plug in each of the ride shares in the event that those rides can go down and safely be provided by either Lyft or Uber.
So mostly it's an aggregation play.
That's correct.
Okay, makes sense. All right, thank you very much. So judges, if you'll take a moment to fill out your Vision Heat form on clinical benefit, feasibility, innovativeness, et cetera, et cetera. Obviously, I'm doing it at the same time. And if the next presenter will get queued up and start sharing their screen, that'd be great.
I'm running if it's Michael Sheen.
Okay, so for this one, okay, Michael, remember you're going to be saying next if it's not obvious when you're ready to go to the next slide. I assume everybody's ready by now. I'm almost ready. But if anybody isn't ready, please tell us. And okay, now I'm ready. Okay, so next up is Oxy Health with Michael Shane. Michael's also up on the platform too, right? He's on medstarter.com.
Yep.
So a lot of the projects today. Well, no, I think didn't he take it down? I thought he was the one who took it down.
No.
Anyway, so a lot of the projects can be found at the MedStarter 2021 Vision showcase page. With full crowdfunding projects where you can get more information and communicate directly with the teams. So if you go to medstarter.com, one of the links at the top of the page is go to the 2021 challenge. We'll get the showcase link up probably later today or tomorrow. So so you'll be able to see all the projects there up on the homepage. So if everybody's ready, Heather, you want to? Heather's ready. Okay. Michael, take it away.
Thank you. Yes, Oxy Health is bringing forward an important medical advance through its Accure test, a metabolic test that measures comprehensively for the first time and with great precision how well a patient neutralizes oxidative stress. Next slide, please. Oxidative stress is the primary mechanism behind most chronic disease progression. It underlines deterioration in both cellular life and neurological function, in addition to being central in all inflammatory conditions. Oxidative stress is directly implicated in the effects of aging and in multiple pathologies. The Oxy Health Accure test is the first and only comprehensive oxidative stress test. Next slide, please. We're talking about redox, which is a reduction in oxidation or chemical reactions in which the oxidative states of molecules are changed. Redox reactions are characterized by the transfer of electrons between chemical species. When redox is insufficiently balanced, oxidative stress occurs. A balanced redox level is critical to human health. Oxy Health's Accure test provides a highly precise measurement of oxidative stress levels, a comprehensive assessment of the body's present capability to combat oxidative stress in its present state of redox. Oxy Health's Accure test provides a new metabolic measurement that will become a standard for all adults over the age of 30. Next slide, please. The overview of the test is that we measure oxidative stress directly, quantitatively, and comprehensively. There's no competition. We believe to have the only the IP that the only way to do this, which I can explain if you might like to hear that. The information provided by Accure changes the paradigm. Basically, the oxidative stress field has been relatively moribund, even though it's a very important biomarker, and it's already a $4 billion market with antioxidants. but there has been no test to measure in a medical sense what's going on, and that's a solution we're bringing forward that we believe is in fact a golden key to the whole field. Next slide, please. Our business model is we've already reached agreement with this is all pre-COVID. I have to tell you, in the last several months, we've been focused on COVID, which I'll talk to about in a second, but we have already established a relationship with a major nationwide laboratory partner. We've also established a strategic partnership or a letter of support in that direction with Duke Medicine. Our labs will be set up in Durham, which is where Duke is. We're in the Research Triangle Park area of North Carolina. And then we also, although it's not mentioned here, we were selected by Johns Hopkins for an executive advisory in December. It was a free consult where they provided about a 50-page advisory of how we move forward. And we had already considered this, but one of the things they were mentioning was online marketing presence.
30 seconds.
Next slide, please. Oxy Health's initial development will be, and this is mainly through Duke or other research partners, will be diabetes and dementia. Oxy Health, so we have a diagnostic and therapeutic application. We can take the technology and we can come up with precise antioxidant combinations which will solve redox problems in virtually any situation. That's a huge statement there, and I can explain that more.
All right, that's 4 minutes.
Thank you.
Okay, Michael, I know that was a bit of a challenging presentation, a lot of words. But let's go with 4 minutes of questions. I mean, I have some, but
Yeah,
wanna start?
I have a question. So, I mean, very simple problem solution. So your problem is that what? People have oxidative stress. Your solution is what? Real quick.
Solution is that we can measure that, and then we can also rebalance that in almost any situation. We can give people.
I can't hear you.
We can rebalance the issue they have. We can solve their problems with oxidative stress.
So Michael, you have I thought you had a diagnostic test for oxidative.
Diagnostic test with therapeutic applications.
Okay, and what are the therapeutic applications? Are they within your portfolio?
I'm sorry, you're coming in now.
Are the therapeutic applications within your portfolio?
Let me briefly talk about the. I hear you. Let me briefly talk about the COVID, because I think that's indicative of what we can do. Is we have applied for a National Science Foundation grant where we will come up with a stratifying respiratory inflammation diagnostic. We've our CSO, who's a former VP of LabCorp, Dr. Timothy Alcorn, has already talked with FDA about advancing rapidly that particular test should we move forward with it. And what we see that we can do with COVID is that what's killing people is the respiratory inflammation, which is once it overwhelms the oxidative stress resistance, is causing a cytokine storm, which is 95+% of the deaths in COVID. We believe we can mitigate that and affect the severity of the infection, and that's just really a new application for us. We've got dementia, we've got diabetes, neurodegenerative diseases. If you start looking at, and it's in our pitch deck, we've got an appendix.
Right. So Michael, you're explaining the what, but you're not explaining the how in terms of how are you solving the what therapeutics do you have that will
This is
solve the
what
problem?
happens. You take a diagnostic test within a framework of normals, which we have developed. We will see whether you're adequately addressing oxidative stress. If you're not, and this is the key point here, is that the way to have antioxidants effective is in combination. And this gets technical, but it's because of the secondary ROS cascade that goes on. So we see multiple, we're able to see all the pathways. We see over an hour what's happening with oxidative stress through the test. We can come up with 3, 4 usually antioxidant combinations, which will rebuild redox and solve the situation. So that can reduce.
So you have a pill. You have a pill that you want to.
We don't have a pill. We have a test that can both diagnose whether you have a problem with oxidative stress.
Okay.
If
And then
do,
you would
we
send
can
them
come
to
up with
somebody who has a
specific
therapeutic.
combinations and quantities that will address it.
Okay, so are we out of time, Heather? What's going on?
No, 45 seconds.
45 seconds. So to me, this looks like a licensing deal, right? I mean, you should be licensing this to LabCorp. I assume you have your IP protected, and
Yeah, we will eventually get there. We want to add value to it first, and we need to this is a change. You know, it's a paradigm shifting kind of systems biology approach to medicine. Our CSO, as I mentioned, is a former VP of LabCorp, so that is.
I mean, you're going to be charging $190 for a test. Who's going to actually pay for it? Is this reimbursable?
It will be eventually, but I've also addressed the integrative medicine market, and we have a lot of interest in that. And Duke Integrative Medicine's actually.
Well, let me stop you for a second. Michael, Ami is an integrative medicine board certified doc. I mean, do you have a question for Michael about that?
Time's up. The last question.
No, I don't think so. I think I'm good.
Okay. Well, we'll
But
talk.
I'm here. I'm listening.
So, yeah, Michael. I mean, I think we can help you a lot in a lot of areas. So let's talk later about presentation and delivery and business model and such. We're happy to help you. I think this is a great idea in a way, but I know that oxidative stress is huge and causes all sorts of problems for all sorts of situations. So we're glad to.
Alex, could you connect us to? I just need to look at the deck again, and I may have questions after. I just
at the top of the page in the
in the chat.
In the judging form? No, not in the chat. Well, we can put it there.
Oh yeah. Sorry.
So what I've been doing is I've been opening up people's decks just because I'm short attention span or whatever.
Well, some of them says access denied.
Oh, that could be a problem.
I tried that.
Also on the bottom, it says, do you want us to contact, do they?
Yeah, so you can put your contact.
Oh yeah, thank you, Deanna.
He also has a project on medstarter.com. I think it's on the homepage actually.
All right, cool. Thank you.
So yeah, so I mean, there's a contact me function of that goes.
I just have to process. It's a lot back to back.
A lot of stuff to communicate.
Yes.
Yeah, click the request access button. We'll give anybody access.
All right, thank you.
So that was great though, Mike. We'll talk. Okay, so our next presentation is by whom?
It's per deck.
Well, I guess I should be going. Okay, so we're gonna lose Pat in a second. He's got to go do some
Sang
school thing.
Jong-un.
Oh yeah.
Predictive care.
No, we got Daniel Ferreira first. Health Assist.
Oh, that's right. Sorry.
Daniel, are you still here? I know you've been
I
here
am.
from the beginning. Do you want to share your screen? There you go. Also, make sure you put it in presentation mode so we can see the full presentation. I know that sometimes flips screens or whatever, but yeah, that looks much better, much easier.
Okay.
Okay, so if all the judges have put in all your comments and don't be afraid to be critical. I mean, these entrepreneurs need this. I know it might seem like tough love. It does seem to be my specialty, but everybody else can do it as well because we all need feedback. And honestly, the judges here, Michael, I mean, if you're hearing from these judges, they've been there, they've done that, they've done some incredible stuff and seen thousands of presentations. So make sure you just take it all with a grain of salt. And just know that it comes from a place of love, as my friend Nick Atkins, the purveyor of those pink socks, would tell you. Although he's much nicer than I am. Although he doesn't give people money as much. So Health Assist by Daniel Ferreira. I think we're ready, right? Everybody's ready? Heather's ready?
Ready.
Okay.
Okay,
Pat,
thank you.
Ready? Ready for this? Okay, so Daniel, take it from the top.
Okay, so the first thing is, advisory board members and our management team, who are we? I'm a serial entrepreneur. I grew my last technology company from 0 to 10 million. It was number 32 in Deloitte's New Jersey Technology Fast 50 Best Expansion Stage company. And I surrounded myself with equally competent people, whether it's the chief technology officer, or legal advice, or cardiologist, or IT company. John is an international company, 5.3 billion.
and Arun is a very successful entrepreneur. Our histories, we did population health management programs for Cigna and Anthem. We enrolled 4,800 patients in that, interacting with Medicare Advantage members to make sure they did the things that they needed to do for the STAR program and Care Gap program, which is for medication adherence, making sure they go on their medical exams. And out of that, we learned that the older portion of Medicare Advantage doesn't typically use a smartphone or digital technology, and they happen to be the highest cost, highest risk members of Medicare Advantage. And so we developed 4 years ago our first generation Health Assist Watch to interact with those members to make sure that we increase their adherence rates and compliance with their medical exams. From that, we had a vision that going forward, smartwatches were going to become the device to monitor and manage the health of those individuals, especially seniors. And about a year ago, a little over a year ago, we partnered with Samsung to integrate our health management ecosystem with their leading edge smartwatches. And as you can see from the picture on the screen, their newest watch does ECG, blood pressure, blood oxygen, trip detection. And so what we've done is we built our software into the watch, and we provided the consumer with 5 different levels of healthcare support. So giving them an option above and beyond a life alert type product, which only calls an agent or in some cases determines if you fell. And it's at a price point that is competitive or less than what Life Alert charges. Go to market, we are working with channel partners. So those very companies are adding our product to their product line. We integrated what we have with remote patient monitoring and telehealth, and we're working with companies, channel partners for that market. All of the data that we capture from the watch and on the back end, it's captured and generates a Health Assist monthly monitor report, which is provided to the family caregiver, as well as added to the remote patient monitoring screen, which helps the physician in identifying issues that concern that patient. As you know, remote patient monitoring is growing quickly, and we thought we'd integrate all of that. In fact, we become the glue that connects a smartwatch with a tablet with other devices.
Okay, so I think you're out of time. We didn't really get much into your business model and such. So if you want to spend 30 seconds on how you guys are going to make money and why you're a good investment, go for it.
Well, yeah. So the Life Alert market is a $6 billion market today, and there's 45 million unpaid caregivers in the United States. We've come up with a better product at a competitive price point, and we expect to get a slice of that audience.
Have you made, so you're making money already though, right? It seems like.
Well, we just started. It took quite a bit of work for us to overcome some of the deficiencies in a smartwatch having a smaller battery and a smaller antenna than a smartphone, which we have done. And so we've done all of that. We've integrated with remote patient monitoring. What you see in front of us shows what the annual revenue is for subscription for each level that the consumer might subscribe to, and what our gross profit margin is after we pay the channel partner 20% commission.
But aren't you just like an app that would go on a Samsung or an Apple Watch as well?
No, the heart of what we have is really in the back end. It's how we manage the data, dashboards that the managed care company was able to see the improvement in patients, be able to interact with the patients to make sure that they continue to improve on their patient outcome.
I see. So this is like a how to chip a patient and see what they're actually doing.
Yeah, think of it as the glue that makes all of these different things work together. We collect the data from the watch. We collect the data from independent devices and remote patient monitoring. We interact with the patient. We interact with the family caregiver. And the combination of all of those enables us to not only monitor and manage mom's health, but instead of just providing a lifeline, a call when she has to go to the emergency room, you can manage this so mom doesn't really have to go to the emergency room as often.
Okay. Other questions from other judges?
Yeah, Alex, thanks for the presentation. You have a lot of information there. I would have liked to seen you compare yourself to your competitors. You say that you have a better watch, but it would be nice to see exactly what your unique proposition is.
That's my question too.
Okay. Here's the comparison on the screen. So you see, life alert type companies typically have a little plastic pendant or bracelet, and you can see what their fees are. Only allows a call to an agent, and some of them have fall detection. Where with ours, we're measuring medication adherence. You could refill your prescription through the watch. We do fall detection, ECG monitoring, blood pressure, and blood oxygen. And we integrate that with remote patient monitoring. So we're the only company in remote patient monitoring that takes that extra data and supplies it to the physician.
So the $54.99, is that for taking all of it into account, or do you have to add each monthly fee?
No, that's everything.
Okay.
All right, 30 seconds left.
So you're in the market now. I can get one of your watches?
Yes.
You need to make that a reward on your MedStarter project, by the way, because I want one. And I could fall at any time.
People love it. When you get this watch, you'll love it.
Yeah, mostly just mentally.
Oh, by the way, I guess the most important thing to tell you is one of the reasons we decided to put all this time, money, and energy into this. It's our belief in the next 2 or 3 years, these watches from both Apple and Samsung will also do non-invasive glucose monitoring.
What? How?
Oh, last question.
How are you going to do non-invasive glucose monitoring?
The way they do it, I have some experience in some startups that are looking. They use different lasers that do the refraction and reflection of light.
Yeah, Daniel, that doesn't work. Daniel, we'll talk. But yeah, one of our companies is a CGM company, AlertG, and but yeah, we've looked at all of the different. The optical doesn't work. The range is, the error is way too high. Anyway, it's a whole different discussion. But great job, Daniel. A really good presentation. So judges, if you'll take a moment to fill in your blanks. And I'm definitely excited about what you're doing, Daniel. I'd like to see more. And I want one of those watches. You know.
Well, we'll see what we can do.
Well, no, put it up on the thing. People will buy it. You know, that's
Okay.
all. Do you know that, what's his name? Sonny Vu with his Misfit wearables, he actually sold his first, I think, 8,000 devices on a MedStarter campaign. And he sold his whole company for $240 million 30 months later. So
that would work for me.
That's a good exit strategy. And we're actually working on that for AlertG now too, as the bigs are sort of wanting to get that contactless CGM thing going. But yeah, you need to partner with the right company on that one, because nobody else seems to be doing it particularly well. And I'm not just saying that because I'm an investor. Okay, so that was fantastic. Our last presenter, Sejong Yoon, should be queuing up now. If all the judges, if you guys have gotten your feedback in there. So if you have any feedback for Daniel, make sure you give him a couple of words on that, or just tell him let's talk, and put in your contact information. And if you've already said that you would share it, then feel free to do that. So I'm very excited about the next company. I actually thought about starting a company like this, believe it or not, in 1996, and still amazingly nobody has done it. So I think these guys have a very interesting model and presentation, and I will certainly be a customer. So obviously I've seen this already, but I look forward to hear everybody's reactions to it, and don't be swayed by my, promoting initially. So Heather, if you're ready, and if all the judges are ready.
Ready.
Okay, so I'll shut up and let you take it away.
Yeah, by the way, my video is not working, somehow Zoom issue, so let me just continue. You can listen, right? See my screen.
Sure.
Yes.
Yeah, we
Okay.
hit your screen.
Yeah. Hi, I'm Sajung. I'm CEO and co-founder of Predictive. We are building digital twin to predict and prevent diseases. A few years ago, my father suffered from a rare cancer. And while I was working at NIH as a researcher and teaching genomics at Johns Hopkins, I analyzed my father's DNA and found out it could have been predicted. Actually, according to NIH, over 10% of serious diseases could and should have been predicted and prevented. That's why we built Predictive, the most advanced genomics-based digital twin to predict and prevent diseases. The usage of Predictive is just like the weather forecast. If you know it's gonna rain, you will take an umbrella and avoid getting wet. So if you know you have a high risk for certain diseases, you will take the preventive measures, and at least you will reduce the impact of those diseases. We believe the best way to predict future diseases is to prevent it. How do we do this? We sequence and analyze 20,000 genes for cross-reference with 16,000 diseases. By the way, the course I'm teaching at Johns Hopkins is a genome analysis course at the graduate school, so it's my expertise. So we recruited 4 Hopkins scientists to build the internal database over the last 4 years. So our digital twin has a personalized genetic database component in it. And when they don't have any signs and symptoms, we provide the inborn disease risk assessment. When they have certain signs and symptoms, we provide the relevant genetic information. And if you're gonna prescribe certain medications, we provide the pharmacogenomic information through the form of simulation. In terms of for use case, osteoporosis, if you know you're gonna get it, we can take some preventive measures so that at least you can prevent getting your bones broken. So that's the purpose. So compared to the 23andMe, they do the PDF-like report. Hospitals, they do the pinpoint search like a CFTR, let's sequence and what happens. But instead, we do the all 20,000 genes analysis for the 16,000 diseases. And also we made a searchable real-time database with the pharmacogenomics information. So our business model is to sell it to the physician and then $1,500, and then they mark up, sell it to the patient. Our first target is the concierge medicine. Especially we're gonna go through the associations, and then pediatrics, oncology, specialized hospital, and then go to the national healthcare systems. We have a very accomplished team. My twin brother is also working for us as a chief scientific officer. And Mailani is working as a chief medical officer. She has an MD and then trained bioinformatician. And Alex has a successful exit into two successful exits. So we tried in 20 different patients last year. And then earlier this year, we became the commercial partner of UK Genomics England, where they're gonna sequence 5 million people in 5 years. So we wanna sell our digital twin to 5 million. And then, so we're gonna break even in 18 months. And then we are expecting 70 million revenues with a 75% operating margin. We are raising 500K to improve the UI UX. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, Sejong. This is
Yeah,
Betty. You have a nice model, but a lot of companies are trying to do this at this time. You haven't quite convinced me why you're better or how what you're doing is different and better than the competition.
Oh, that's an excellent question. So this is our demo panel. So like a treatment, you can just cluster instead of just giving the cluster, you can simulate it. If you want to do the diagnosis support based on the current signs and symptoms, you can just simulate it. The backend works like this. So if you're gonna have a certain genetic information problem, you can just search for anything. Like, so for example, let's say cystic fibrosis, you can just type the CFTR. Within 5 seconds, you get the answer. How about the Zellweger syndrome? Within 5 seconds, you will get the answer. Anything. So I think, and also we can have a signs and symptom based for the 10 different organ systems, like including dermatology and cardiology. So if you have a, for example, hypomobile joint hypomobility and the stretchy skin is associated with Ehlers-Danlos syndrome. So you can help clinicians to make the right diagnosis. We can assist.
So does any other company have something similar to this? Any of your competition?
Not the digital twin at this level, but the unique thing for our niche is the genomics, DNA-based digital twin. Yeah, there are some companies doing digital twin, but our unique niche is DNA-based. So we provide the right information because you have a certain gene mutation, so it never goes wrong. We don't know when they're gonna develop the phenotype, but there are some huge associations. So yeah.
Is this patented?
Yes, we have a provisional patent for the 14 steps of doing this. Yes. And then, what we like to do is that we want to integrate the personal genomics information with the health record data with our predictive AI engine, and then build everybody's medical digital twin to prevent and reduce the impact of serious diseases and choose the right treatment options.
Sorry, guys, I was on mute. I know you guys were all probably relieved for a little while. I was wondering why nobody was listening to me. So, Susan, tell me about tell me if it's just John and Rob and Heather usually don't listen to me. Yeah, I'm playing my fiddle. Anyway, so tell me about how you managed to do this at cost. I mean, that's a ton of genes to be sequencing. I mean, I know the prices came down, but what does it actually cost you to do those 20,000 genes?
Yeah, we'll say pretty close to nothing because we automated up to already 95% already. So our in-person cost is close to nothing. And then, we have to use the cloud, but that's minimal, like $10-20. That's it. And then, the sequencing cost will be the most, whole exome, whole genome nowadays takes $300 or so. So that's, we're gonna have a very high profit margin. And then we are taking
nothing to do the sequencing. That's your answer?
Yeah, we're not gonna do sequencing by ourselves. We are outsourcing it. And then biobanks already have done a lot of them, so that they are our potential customers.
That's interesting.
To scale it. Yeah.
No, that sounds very interesting. Okay. Well, are there more questions? We have more time. What's going on here?
Time for one more question.
Anyone? How can I get this now?
We'll be happy to provide. We have a working version, fully functional version. So just email me. I'll be happy to provide it.
No, but I mean, like right now, I don't think it's actually available on the market, right? And you said something about $14.90 or something per. If it doesn't cost you anything, why is it $14.90 to get it done?
The mostly genetic sequencing costs nowadays, and then just mostly our profit, and our DNA extraction costs $50 or so, and then sequencing costs $300, and then the rest of it will be profit margin, because other companies provide this same service of full genome analysis at $50,000 or something like that, very ridiculous price. So.
Okay. Well, that's pretty exciting. I would say, let's do this as a crowdfunding campaign, just because I think it's going to be something that people are going to want to buy directly. Is this going to wind up being insurance reimbursable, you think? I mean, is
yes,
it?
We have a ICD code, but our customers didn't want to use the insurance because of the, they want to get don't want to reveal any information associated with insurance companies before, but we do have the ICD-CPT.
That does raise a good point of if you have all this data available, what are you going to do with it? Is it patient owned? Is the concierge medical service going to own it? So what are you doing with the patient's ownership of the data?
Yeah, patients own it, and then we do not share.
Okay, that's a good answer. Okay, so I guess Heather, you're saying we're out of time?
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you.
Great job, Sejun. Really exciting to see what you're doing there. Normally we would have like a panel discussion in 10, 15 minutes here, but honestly, we didn't have time to pull that together. And mostly that's a cover for when I'm actually doing the math to figure out who won. So I actually automated a lot of that math, and I'm just going through that right now. So once everybody tells me that they've submitted all their responses, then I'll automatically receive all of your responses. So I can see right now, I've got about 8 of them. We're waiting on, I think we have pretty much most people's response. If you haven't hit submit yet, please hit submit. So I have Dana, Aline, Ami, Deanna, Betty, Frank, me, of course, Pat. Is there anybody else who's submitted and you're not sure if your information went in? Anyone? Kat, I don't see yours here, Kat. Kat, were you not filling out the form all along? Come on, Kat. You're a doctor now. I expect more.
It's coming in a sec.
Okay, I'll wait. Jesse Elliott. Oh, thank you, Jesse. I don't know who you are, but you're an investor. If you want to, put your LinkedIn in the chat box. I should probably put that on the form, right? Oh, here we go. Somebody just came in. Oh, Adina Blickstein. Thank you, Adina. Okay, yours just came in. And let me just fix my math. You guys can talk amongst yourselves. I'm just going to be doing some math over here. Don't mind me. Aline, would you like to lead a discussion on any topic? Are you even still here, Aline? Or did you go to sleep already? Normally, this is where I would say, Aline and Eugene, please run a panel on something or other. But Eugene wasn't here, and I know Aline is 7 hours or 6 hours ahead of us, so it's not always that easy to do. Alrighty then, so we're just going to do this. So does anybody have any feedback for our presenters? Is there any patterns that you guys want to talk about and say, hey, you might want to think about doing this a little differently next time, or do your best, or what have you? Anyone?
I think generally all the presenters should have, I think I should have a better sense of what the market opportunity is, what the remaining technological challenges are, and what kind of funding they need now and what time they expect to be back to the market. It's hard to evaluate if I don't know those things.
That is true. It's a good point. I also thought we saw some presentations that looked like they needed to be slimmed down a good bit.
Well, I think in the time allotted, you really got to rework your presentation to make the use of the time better, to give the elevator pitch more than the full pitch.
Yep.
Unfortunately, some of the presentations, I don't quite exactly know what the value add is, wasn't able to pick up on it quickly enough in the time given.
Yeah, that is definitely a challenge. Do you have any questions for any of the teams that are still here, or anybody want to, say, hey, give me a call, or anything that I'm just saying, use this time as you wish, as Alex, frantically does the math, which I thought I had automated, but something went slightly wrong with it.
So for prescriptive, I'm curious whether
preventive, the last two.
Preventive, I'm sorry. I'm curious, what are the results? You said you had a 20-person study. What do the results look like? Do they result like that you just are predisposed towards having diabetes and you move on from that, or is it more specific than that?
Yeah, it was more like physicians using it in their clinic. So finding the underlying diseases, and then so it's actually we use it. It's not a study. Actually, we'll use it in the real clinical setting with a paying customer.
I thought you said that there was some kind of study of 20 persons or something.
Oh, sorry. I should have said a pilot program. Yeah.
You probably said pilot. Okay. So okay.
And one of the problem we're gonna address is that, you know, when you do the history and physical, you know, people are asking what your parents had, grandparents had, diabetes, hypertension. So what we are changing is, hey, you know, let's actually analyze the genetic information, because genetic information and environmental information half roughly, right? Nowadays, we don't use the genetic information. So diagnosis workup is very, very hard. So we are helping physicians to work up more easily.
Okay.
Okay, sorry, I got a little bit of a discrepancy in my calculations here. I don't know why. Okay, that should be that. PW. Now you see why I usually have something else going on instead of this, instead of me doing 7.04. 6. What the hell? Ay. Okay, so I think something's going wrong with the math here. So I'm gonna just redo it from scratch.
And for let's see, I'm trying to remember with the infection reduction, I'm sorry, I apologize for not remembering the name of the person or the company.
Infection reduction?
Yeah,
That's the Smart Steward presentation that I gave, Phil?
Yes, sir. I wasn't exactly sure how you manage the data to achieve that reduction. I wasn't sure I understood the beginning part of it.
Yeah, again, there's modules in Smart Steward. The first module doesn't save time. I think Betty asked how you saving time. The first module saves lives because it identifies COVID patients early. As we progress through the modules, we draw more and more data from the electronic healthcare record that we use to identify changes in conditions early. And how we reduce the infection rate is there's several components of that. Number one, the unnecessary use of antibiotics. 50% of antibiotics that are prescribed in a nursing home are unnecessary. That drives antibiotic resistance. When antibiotic resistance increases in the facility, antibiotics are less effective and you have worse patient outcomes, essentially. So what we're doing in the future models of Smart Steward is we're controlling the prescription process by looking at the resistance pattern in the facility and prescribing the most effective antibiotics at the right dose and the right duration at the right time. And that's how we reduce the infection rate in these facilities.
How's the data collected?
The data all is collected from the EMR. We look at, as I said, we look at vitals like O2, temperature increases or decreases, other vitals. We're looking at progress notes to see what comments the nurses and doctors are making. We're looking at prescriptions that doctors are actually writing and giving them feedback, because quite often they're prescribing incorrectly. That prescriber feedback also changes prescriber habits and enables them to become better prescribers. So all of that comes from the EHR record that we pull data from. It's amazing how rich the data source is in an EHR.
So that's real-time access and real-time updating of that?
That's real-time access and real-time updating. So if you're a physician prescribing, you're going to have the resistant pattern for that facility for that month. And currently what they're doing is they don't even look at these antibiograms. They get them twice a year from the laboratory, and no doctor is looking at the resistance patterns and what the effectiveness of each antibiotic is at any given time. And that's why bad prescribing happens and antibiotic resistance increases in the facility.
But also prescription overuse and early use, too early, also increases resistance.
That's correct.
So
And
I'm curious about your false positives, and if you start prescribing so early, like a person has a little fever and you don't wait, that also increases resistance.
Well, of course, yeah, we don't do the prescribing, the doctor does. We're just a clinical aid in the prescribing process. So what we do is we leave it up to the doctor to decide when to prescribe. And if the doctor doesn't agree with our knowledge-based recommendation, and we give the doctor references that support the recommendations, if they decide not to use those recommendations, they can opt out and write their own prescription within our system. So that's important because the doctor really controls the prescription, and we don't want to be a medical device, and we would be if we aided in the diagnosis of the disease.
So you've proven that you've decreased resistance, antibiotic resistance?
Yes, we've decreased antibiotic resistance, we decreased infections, complications, we decreased the readmissions due to infections. So yeah, we have some great pilot data. We're in 4 pilot studies right now. One of them was our original pilot where we developed the software where the doctors and the nurses on the floor. That's been going on for almost 2 years now. And then we recently enrolled 3 new pilots for our new eye product, which is their surveillance and alert system for COVID and multi-drug resistant organisms. That's the other thing that's going on in nursing homes. We have multi-drug resistant organisms that kill 35,000 people a year and also cause 200,000 infections at a tremendous cost to the healthcare system. So the MDROs used to be the bad guys before COVID hit, but now that COVID hit, COVID is the main topic, but COVID eventually is going to go away. It may take another year or 2 years, but the next pandemic is right around the corner. There's influenza, and vaccines don't work necessarily very well in an aged patient population. And of course, the MDROs will be a continuing problem. More people will die from MDROs in 10 years than they die from cancer and heart disease. So they're a significant ongoing problem.
That's great.
Can I switch over to Daniel for a second?
Sure.
Daniel, how long you been selling the watches and how many customers do you have?
Well, like I mentioned, we just finished our development on this and signed up channel partners. And so Medical Care Alert was the first channel partner. They'll do 100 watches a month. Medical Guardian is one of the larger ones. And we have a meeting coming up with them. That would be 500 watches a month. And so what we have out there is maybe 25 different watches, most of them field tests to make sure we got all of the kinks and bugs out of it. And we had to change our website from what it is today to represent the 5 different levels and all the different sources that come to us that will be selling both the Health Assist watch and our remote patient monitoring. That will be completed in a couple of weeks. So we'll be live with everything in the month of October.
Okay, so that's the first day that you roll out. So you don't have any subscribers yet then?
No,
okay.
No.
And technological challenges that what kind of bugs have to be worked out of that?
Well, we wanted to go live much earlier than this, but what we found out is we picked Samsung because they had the longest battery life, 2 or 3 days. But what we found out is because the antenna in the watch is very small and the battery is smaller, if you're in good reception, it's not a problem. But if you're in a weak reception area, instead of 3 days, the battery could go dead in 3 hours. So we had to go deep into the code to turn cellular and Wi-Fi on and off programmatically as it's needed. And so now the watch lasts more, much more than 1 day, because we couldn't put anything to market unless we know when someone pressed 911, the watch was going to work, right? So that delayed us.
Okay, so I'm sure you guys are all pleased to know that I finally corrected my math errors. This explains a big deal about why I'm not a programmer and why I do what I do. Because, yeah. But I can do simple math, which this is fairly simple. And so I'm finally done with it. So normally Pat would be doing a drum roll, and we'd be announcing who's what. But let me share my screen. So let me go do that. I just want to thank everybody for your involvement in this and honestly, we wouldn't be able to, I mean, yeah, I could probably guess who people will like, and that's the way most venture funds work, but I don't really think that works particularly well. And the evidence seems to show that, you know, so I'm not really sharing any news that anybody probably doesn't know, but venture funds in general don't do that well. Our venture fund is doing about 5 times better than your best venture funds at this point. So we're doing like about 120% internal rate of return. Your typical fund does about 8%. You can think of that as like comparing to the S&P 500, and usually, you know, they don't do any better than those guys. So, so I just want to thank our sponsors. Oscar Health came in as a sponsor. Cohn Resnick's longtime sponsor. When we accelerate and invest in companies, Amazon, MadPow, Venture Out, and then a new sponsor called Jira IT, which is a software development shop based out of Ukraine, which we use, but they also have offered to our portfolio companies as part of the accelerator program that they'll give $10,000 in free development from them. They also discounted rates for others. So if you want to talk to them, you can talk to me, or you can call Eugene's contact info is right here. I have a whole deck on them if you guys want to learn more, but it's full stack development, and they are pretty great. We've been using them for about 5 months now, and we're very happy with them. I want to thank all the judges, everybody who is involved here, especially the first timers and the repeat, you know, folks who just, you know, are amazing to have in our network and have your help in all these things. Most of you guys know that, you know, MedStarter started out as a meetup group, and then we opened up a crowdfunding site. Finally, in 2017, we got wise and opened up a venture fund. Started out with just my own money. And now we've got amazing, great investors like Phil, who ask great questions and have, you know, a lot of industry expertise and outside the industry expertise and things like that. That's allowed us to do things like invest in companies like Your Coach, which is our most recent investment. So it's run by Eugene Barakovich, and it's a fitness coach aggregation play. My team is amazing. You know, Pat Hurd, Heather DeLeonardis, couldn't do this stuff without you. Our resident polymath, Avishad Nesavir, helps us do a lot of the analysis. My brother does fundraising and also runs this entity called MedStarter Direct, where we actually help bring these innovations out to market faster with a professional sales force and a lot of packaging. You can learn more about MedStarter Direct at medstarter.direct. Really great, great website that Avishad actually set up. And Robert was our third investor and the second person to say yes other than myself. So I just want to thank the DeLeonardis, both of them, as well as Phil DeLeonardis. So yes, this is a bit of a family affair, and that's no pun on my name, Fair, although I guess I usually do that. Pat had to go to school. I guess he's got to teach a class on innovation. He's actually taking a class on innovation, which is crazy. You know, he could be teaching it, but right now they're actually asked him to talk about some stuff like that. The MedStarter Mentor Network is over 900 amazing folks like the people who you saw here today. Regina Holiday, Sutha Kamal, Sunny Vu, Thor Ernsten, just really amazing folks covering all different areas of medicine, from orthopedics to UX design to investment strategy and things like that. So when MedStarter invests in companies, it isn't just, you know, just a little bit of money. We also do a ton of other stuff too. So I guess we're well after 6:15. Sorry about that. But I do want to tell us who won. So now we can do the drum roll. So first place, and we're going to start with the what we call the crowd favorite. So there's actually a tie, which is not unusual, for what amounts to fourth place. So 2 teams got very close scores. And so it's our old friend, Joe Curcio from Kinaptic, and also Martin Lee from Magic Horizons, both got what we call the crowd choice, which is great promise. Enough people got excited about you that we want to talk to you more. And now all companies, we're more than happy to set up calls and go through your presentation. You'll have access to most of the judges' responses. I have to look to see who's available and who's not. And if anybody's any reservations about any information you shared, please just tell me. You know, don't share this or that or the other thing. So that's fourth place. So great job, guys. Pat and Sherrod will be in touch to do an update or to do initial due diligence review. This is the first part of our investment process. So from the 30 or so applications, we narrowed it down to 9. From that 9, we'll narrow it down to 4 or 5 that we're going to actually go ahead and do our due diligence process, which involves including sending us all of your information, which we don't share with anybody, and then reviewing it, and then having you in for a session with Phil and me and Rob and John and a bunch of others who are specialists in your space. So that's fantastic. Third place goes to Sejun Yoon and Preventive. Obviously nobody was swayed by my excitement about the company, but enough people were perhaps. But I'm very excited about you guys, and we definitely want to talk to you. So great job pulling a showing. Win, place, and show. Show would be third place if these were horses. So that leaves the second place team, Ligents, with Davidas, another name I'm going to mangle, Metulosikas. So yeah, we want to see more about what you guys are doing and how it can automate ultrasound readings. And of course, I don't think anybody's surprised. Everybody was very impressed with Sam's presentation out of South Korea. So first place goes to GrowFitter, and you can actually find GrowFitter right now on medstarter.com and get involved with their project and get more information about them there, or you can contact them directly. I want to thank the judges from both the regular judges and the people who came in from the audience to help judge. We had a lot of data, which is, it's not that I don't, it's not that I'm not confident about my opinions, is that I think that altogether we're much more likely to be correct in our suspicions about how companies are going to do in the future. And I don't know about you, but I'm not a gajillionaire. I can't throw money or my investors' money at every company, even if I'd love to. I can give you a little advice. I can give you some of my time. I can give you pointers, and I can let you into the next contest or what have you. But I can't fund everybody, which is a sad thing, but it's a true thing. Because I think all of you have really great ideas, really great suggestions. Hopefully, you've gotten some good feedback from today. You've learned a few things. You got good practice presenting, and also being peppered with questions, which I think is important to be able to respond to questions well. So that pretty much wraps up what we're going to be doing here today. For anybody who wants to be more involved with MedStarter, get involved in our investment review committees, invest in the fund, whatever, you can learn more about MedStarter at medstarter.vc. In terms of the venture fund, you can find a lot of these projects and a lot more on medstarter.com. That's a crowdfunding, but it's really crowd validation site, but it also allows you to get involved with the companies in 17 different ways. Please go to Aline's event at the bhhsummit.com. If you need legal help, our friends over at McCarter and English, Joe Daniels is particularly good at that, especially for startups in healthcare. And obviously, MedStarter Venture Partners, like to thank everybody who came and was involved in this event. So thanks for coming. And if you have any comments or questions, please feel free to send them to me. I'm just alex@medstarter.com, or you can, call me, text me, or whatever. If you don't have my number, you can probably find it pretty easily, or just email me at alex@medstarter.com. Or you can always call 530-MEDSTARTER, 530-MEDSTARTER, 530-633-7827. And no, we are not in the area code 530. I just chose that so that I can have the MedStarter. So anyway, so once again, thanks. Another great event, another great show. I'm not complimenting Sam because you guys are the show. I'm just the MC. So I want to thank everybody, especially Heather, because I know you have childcare stuff, and Rob for helping with the childcare stuff.
Thank you, Alex.
And Kat for coming back. I missed you, Kat.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thanks, Alex.
Thank you, Alex.
Bye-bye.
Thanks, everybody.
My pleasure. Thanks to the new guys and girls. And happy birthday.
Happy birthday, Pat.
Okay, I can turn off the disco ball now, I guess, right? Okay, I'm going to end this thing and set it to save mode or whatever.